Well, folks, good day to you one and all, or should I say good evening. It's our favorite time of the week, the month, the year. It's Wednesday night, and it's going to be one of those special nights. It's the last round for the Porsche Cup and the MSA GTE Series, coming to you live from the second year studios. Joining us, Mike Side, the man from Rage Productions, and Yo Stasi, FC Nuvo. FC, good evening to you.
Good evening, Gaza. Good evening, Frankie. Lovely to be here with you guys.
Well, it'll be the first time that you see pretty much the end of a season, having been with us now pretty much for a full season, and the voice of West Bromwich Motorsport, Frankie Ennis. Frankie, good day to you.
Good day, Gary. Good day, FC. Good day, everybody at home.
So, Canvas Intelligence Porsche 992 Cup support event. It's almost as popular as the GTE. It's one of the big races. And you talk about the big race. We're going to be going to the MSA GTE Series, 60,000 rands worth of prize money. It's going to be handed out at the end of tonight with that race. But first of all, the Porsche Cup. They're going to be starting their qualifying around about now.
Yeah, and of course the race coming to you from the Circuit de la Sarthe, better known as Le Mans, and that is situated in the city of Le Mans in France. The track length 13.55 kilometers, 34 degrees, your ambient temperature, or your track temperature out there, shall I say, and it's just 33 meters above sea level, Frankie.
Yeah, the outside temperature is 19 degrees, clear skies, and a 20 kilometer an hour wind. 47% chance of rain, but as I always say, somehow I certainly do not think so. This is round 8 of the 2022 season, and it is the final round of the Porsche Cup, brought to you by Canvas Intelligence and ASAP Used Motor Spares.
Keep in mind that the top point scorer, the man out there on the track right now, the 71, Scott Montanari, the MXU team from the Oval Office, as he says, he's the highest point scorer going into today's race, with Atinagel, who needs to secure a top 5 to secure that second position, and then the young gun Troy Dolanchik, the next man that's in there behind that.
So that is Troy Dolanchik working his way through in that blue Porsche, the Suzhine Properties outfit, making its way towards us. Troy Dolanchik in number 17, and then that man Atinagel coming towards us now, and he is lying pretty high up in the championship points. Is Atinagel. There is Jaco Steyn, and Jaco is in the Gazoo Racing Porsche number 88, making his way around the Le Mans circuit.
A big thanks to Jaco Steyn, that does massive amounts of work in the background, and he's basically our computer guru in terms of the different programs that we use, and alongside the likes of Mike Pereira, and ably assisted there by Sandro Bakari from time to time as well, that puts this together for us. But a good couple of top riders out there, the likes of this man Tristan de Nobrega. We're going to see him out there tonight. Young Carl McCarthy from the Sujin Property side of the world. Jason Kutsia from the Durant Motorsport side of the world. And then another man that's not been around for that long, but has become very prominent, Yaz Samai.
Yeah, Yaz Samai has made quite a name for himself in the last couple of rounds here of the Porsche Cup. He's out there again tonight here at the circuit of Le Mans, where we're going to see the final round of the Porsche Cup Support Series. Willem Pinaar, the next man out there, busy setting up a time in the Castrol GTX Porsche as he looks to battle it out there with the guys along with this man, the number 5 Porsche there of Stephen Duplessis.
Yeah, Duplessis was a driver that really showed us what he can do this year. And then Johannes van der Merwe, JJ van der Merwe in the 67 Porsche, busy working his way around. And then Peter van Zyl in car number 20. Of course, all these guys out there in the same vehicles. There's Gerald Fourie, he's the dad of Leighton Fourie, who is a 2021 Polar Cup SA champion. That is Leighton's dad, Gerald. And then the number 9 Porsche out there, FC of Cape Town's Davy Hubert.
Yeah, Davy Hubert's also had quite a blast out there this year in the 992 Porsche Cup Support Series, along with this man, Tristan de Nobrega. We've seen him go from strength to strength, a well-known name in the karting racing fraternity, and seen on many circuits out in the country. And this is another well-known name out in the Porsche Cup Series, the Mercury Porsche of Wayne Camage.
Well, the time's coming through now, and so far with a 4:06.309, it is Jaco Steyn that's there in provisional pole at this point, and here comes Troy Dolacek with a 4:02.995.
Ati Nagel goes second quickest there with a 4:03.414 to go ahead of Jaco Steyn. Robbie Teens out there in that 4th position with he's about 0.3 of a second off the leading time. Herman Lazarus out there in P5 so far. JJ van der Merwe with Yaz Samai and Wayne Camage and Carl McCarthy, the only ones to have set up a time.
That is your top 9 so far. And Carl McCarthy is 8.6 seconds at this point in time off the provisional pole sitter. That is Troy Dolacek, who's done a 4:02.995. He is the quickest man out there. Card in the Sujin Property is a Porsche. Number 64 is so far in that 9th position, just behind Wayne Camage.
Well, only 9 drivers having set a time so far. This is a very, very long lap. 13 kilometers, 13 and a half kilometers that these guys have to do to complete one lap. That's why you're seeing lap times of 4 minutes. So the fastest of 4 minutes, 2 seconds, 0.995. And that is about 9 seconds quicker than Carl McCarthy, who posted that 9th fastest time of a 4:11.620.
That is Colin Pitt in the 75 car. Is making his way down the world-famous Mulsanne Straight with the 2 chicanes in it. Back in the day when Supervan used to race Le Mans, it was one long straight. And there is the Nobrega still sitting out there in that 3rd position with a 4 minutes, 4.118 seconds, 1.1 seconds off Dolacek's time.
Yeah, Davy Hubert just went 4th fastest so far with a 4 minute 5.869, and that was good enough to bring him into that 4th position, and that drops Carl McCarthy down to 11th with Wayne Camage also posting a time up there of a 4 minute 10.576.
Stephen McCarthy out there in the Sujin Property and SS Racing, a Porsche, car number 18. He has not put up a time yet, has Stephen McCarthy. He's not part of that group at this stage of the game. And Dolacek is still the quickest. Ati Nagel has done a personal best ever, 4:03.414.
Yeah, Stephen Duplessis just posted a time out there of a 4 minute 4.205, just a 1/10 of a second between himself and Tristan de Nobrega. That bumps down Davy Hubert and Willem Pinaar, also posting a time up there with 4 minute 10.431.
I was watching it. Jason Kutsia hasn't posted a time yet. Neither is this man, Uncle Cyril Ginsberg, out there in car number 10, making his way around now. When Cyril does race at the Kalani International, which he hasn't done for quite some time, he drives a Porsche in the sports and GT categories. So if anybody knows his way around a racetrack in a Porsche, then it is this man, Cyril Ginsberg.
Yeah, Cyril Ginsberg out there. He's having a lot of fun out in the number 10 Porsche this year. But the big question is, can anybody dethrone Troy Dolenschenk from that pole position? Ati Nachel is a half a second off the pace there from a Dolenschenk. He's going to be the one that will try the hardest, but it's a long time to wait out here for a lap time. We might actually be running out of time before most of these guys get to set a time.
Well, there is Scott Montanari out on track. This is the man that is currently leading the Porsche Cup Championship, and I don't think anybody can dethrone Scott Montanari at this point in time in this one. So he'll just be taking it easily, hoping for a win in that 71 Porsche, the MXU team office, oval office Porsche of Scott Montanari.
Interesting setup that they chose for qualifying for this event, taking into consideration a 13-kilometer long lap. Gerald Fourie going sixth fastest there, with JJ van der Merwe moving up. But yeah, a lot of the guys setting up times now. With a 13-kilometer stretch of racetrack with 4 minutes per lap, you do one warm-up lap, you're only going to do one flying lap. There's no way you're going to squeeze in a second one.
And you can't afford to mess that one up neither. Here comes Jason Coetzee for Durant Motorsport. He needs to put up a decent time. He's not on that leaderboard at all, is Jason Coetzee.
Now, Frankie, he just put the one up. He's on the second row of the grid.
As I so say, puts that 16 Porsche in P3 with a 403.276.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much going to wrap it up. I don't think there's going to be much more that anybody's going to be able to do. No time for Cyril Ginsberg and or Colin Plitt. Scott Montanari, you would expect to be one of the quickest out there, but I think he's just going to have a bit of fun today. He's taken all the pressure up until now, and he's done it all right and made sure that he gets himself to the front end of the field. Let's have a look at the grids.
Right, Troy Dolenschenk and Ati Nachels on the front row of the grid, followed there by Jason Coetzee and Tristan Denobreger. And the third row of the grid is Stephen Duplessis and Pieter van Zyl.
Starting on the inside of row number 4, Jaco Steyn in that 7th position with Gerald Fourie on his outside. Scott Montanari in row number 5 with Davy Hubert alongside him. JJ van der Merwe and Robbie Teens fills up row number 6.
Row 7, Wayne Camage and Herman Lazarus. Row 8, Jas Samaya and Stephen Koenig. Row 9, Steve McCarthy and Carl McCarthy. And row 10 is Willem Pienaar and Colin Plitt. And on his own in row 11 is Cyril Ginsberg.
That is your qualifying positions there and your starting grid for the Porsche 992 Cup support event for the MSA series here, sponsored by Canvas Intelligence and ASAP Motor Spares. All the guys are starting to grid. We're waiting for that 5th position of Stephen Duplessis to fill up. Jas Mai still needs to make his way to the pits, or to the grid, shall I say, with Willem Pienaar, also one of the names not yet highlighted.
Yeah, Samai and Pienaar are the only two that we're waiting for at this point in time. Yeah, Samai is on, Pienaar is on, everybody is there. And 35 minutes of action brought to you by Canvas Intelligence, ASAP Motor Spares, and Second Gear Productions. Bit of a move off the line there by Dolenschenk. 5 lights on and off, and away we go. 35 minutes of action. Drama at the back of the field already. Somebody in trouble and they haven't even got to turn number 1, but it is Troy Dolenschenk and Ati Nachel that sits out there in P1. Montanari's gone from P9 up to P6 at this point, but it's all about Dolenschenk, Nachel, Denobreger. Watch Scott Montanari. He's busy cutting and carving his way through there. Montanari is moving up. He will probably end up being in that 5th position pretty soon, but Scott Montanari is on the move and he's right on the case there of Jason Coetzee.
Montanari looking like he's ready to have some fun tonight out here in the MXU Team Oval Office Porsche, as he's worked his way from 9th up into 5th already, and now he sits on that back bumper of a Jason Coetzee. But your race leader Troy Dolenschenk already starting to pull a slight gap on 2nd place. Ati Nachel. Denobreger sits there in that 3rd position with Coetzee. Pieter van Zyl, Stephen Duplessis and Montanari dropping back all the way to 8th position, and now 9th, 10th. Problems for Montanari?
Yeah, he's dropping all the way down. I can see him come down that Mulsanne straight, but he has lost a lot of ground. As a matter of fact, he is dropping down like a fly all the way down to the back of the grid here. But Stephen Coetzee is the Duplessis, is the man that's on the move there. He is right on the case. Duplessis of Jaco Steyn. Gerald Fourie is there in that 9th position, and he's hounding the back end there of the number 9 Porsche of Davy Hubert.
Look, this Porsche Cup has delivered some brilliant racing out here this season, and I can guarantee you we're still going to see a lot of a great racing here this evening in the support class. Dolenschenk leads them from Nagel, from de Nobrega, from Coetzee, from Van Zyl, then Jacustein in 6th, followed by Duplessis, Fourie, Hubert, Samai, Van der Merwe, and problems for de Nobrega, problems for Tristan de Nobrega.
Well, it shows out. I think he might have connectivity issues. I sure as heck hope not. He's all the way down. You're going to ask Gary to put up the intervals there on the side. You can see exactly at home how close these drivers are. Thanks, Gaza. How close these drivers are to each other. But have a look at this front three. They are breaking away already. That is Dolacek, Nagel, and Jason Coetzee, and problems out there for Troy Dolacek. Goes from P1 all the way down into P3.
That just shows you how close it is. A tiny little mistake making you run wide could cost you up to 2-3 positions. Oh, massive impact at the back there as Gerald Fourie hits the barrier and starts tumbling down the order.
Yeah, that 99 of Fourie in big trouble. He finds himself there in pit lane now. But it's all about Ati Nagel, Jason Coetzee, and only 1.5 seconds behind him is Troy Dolacek. But look at Troy. He's got them racked and stacked in there behind him as we look at the replay here of the situation that Gerald Fourie found himself in, and major issues out there for Fourie.
Yeah, but this now puts the race lead in the hands of this man, the 78 car of Ati Nagel, who's having a blast at the front of the pack. But just 7/10 down is Jason Coetzee. He's being chased down by your previous race leader, Troy Dolenschenk, with Stein, Duplessis, Van Zyl, Hubert, Samai, Van der Merwe, Montanari, McCarthy, Teens, and Camage all racked and stacked and packed in behind each other.
Right in there fighting for that Davi Hubert's P7. That's a group of cars you see there in your screen right now, busy making their way into that right-hander. Robbie Teen sitting out in the Teen Bolt car is there in that 13th place. Move up to the man that is there in 11th position. That's the Sujin Properties outfit, number 64 of 11th place man, Carl McCarthy. And McCarthy is 1.3 seconds behind Scott Montanari in that 10th position. And Scott and Van der Merwe is all over the back of the 8th position man there of Jas Samai. And Van der Merwe has now made the move there on Samai. And back into P8 goes Jas Samai.
Oh, and off, is that a run? No, that's the pit entrance. That is Montanari diving into the pits.
Well, Jason Coetzee with a 409.293. He's the quickest man out there. As we have a look and see Scott Montanari in deep trouble. Well, that's the reason why he bailed into pit lane.
Now, it looks like there might be some damage to the car there, but your new race leader now, Jason Coetzee, is in control of this race in the number 16 Durant Motorsport Porsche. Then Nagel sits in that second place, but he's being hunted down there by the 8-ball 24/7 car there of Dolenschenk. Then Jacustein currently sits in a very good looking 4th position, but Steven Duplessis making life hard for him.
Steven Duplessis all over the back of him, so is a Pieter Van Zyl, that man in that number 20 Porsche. Van Zyl and Duplessis is all over the back of the 88 Porsche of Stein. Not too far behind him, 2.6 seconds is Davi Hubert. 2.3 seconds behind him is Jas Samai, and crawling all over the back of the Samai Porsche is JJ Van der Merwe.
Yeah, JJ Van der Merwe still there, and he goes up on the inside there of Samai. JJ Van der Merwe wins back that position as he flies past Samai, going down that long straight, and then they're going to go into that right-hander chicane, with Van der Merwe leading this battle with Jas Samai dropping down to 9th.
That's that famous Mulsanne Straight that they are working their way on now. In 11th position is Kyle McCarthy. He's all over the back end there of Stephen McCarthy, but right there with him is Wayne Camage. There you see the Mercury car from the rear cam of the Kyle McCarthy Porsche, and right behind Camage is the Castrol car, number 57 of Willem Pienaar.
Yeah, Willem Pienaar in that 13th position. He's just 0.6 of a second down from a Camage as Kyle McCarthy makes a move there on Stephen McCarthy ahead of them. But this is a big battle out here for that 4th, 5th, and 6th, as Peter Van Zyl has managed to leapfrog both Stein and Duplessis up into that 5th position, with Duplessis and Stein dropping down to 5th and 6th.
That's quite right, but the fight's still on here for the lead between Coetzee, Dolacek, and Nagel. There's nothing between Jason Coetzee and the man you ride on board with right now, and that is Troy Dolacek, and he is only 0.4 of a second Ahead of the 78 Porsche in third position of Atinachel is Dolacek. He's got the slipstream there. Dolacek on Jason Kutsia. There's 600ths of a second between them. Is he going to go for a move somewhere? As we go back down to Peter van Zyl. Peter van Zyl, Jaco Steyn and Steven Duplessis. These three hot shots having a go with each other as you see the leaders disappear just ahead of them down the road.
Yeah, just ahead of them is your race leaders, Kutsia, Donacek and Nachel. Then Jaco Steyn is now back into that fourth position. Peter van Zyl closes off the line ahead there of Steven Duplessis. Duplessis trying desperately to get past and try to make a move on Jaco Steyn. But Jaco Steyn keeping cool and calm and collected. He knows he can't put a foot wrong because any of those guys behind him will then jump at the opportunity.
But Davi Hubert, that's sitting out there in P7, he's getting a lot closer to that group as well. That second group of cars you see there. But this first group of cars, that is your leaders, Kutsia, Dolacek and Nachel. 0.2 of a second between Kutsia and Dolacek. And then 0.4 of a second between Dolacek and Nachel.
Yeah, it's all very, very close here in that front three. Then your second group of three is Jaco Steyn. He's just half a second ahead there of Van Zyl, who in turn is just 0.6 of a second ahead of Steven Duplessis. There they come now. That is your next three that comes through this corner. Behind them, Davi Hubert. He's 3.2 seconds down the road ahead there of JJ van der Merwe and Yaz Samai in ninth.
There's a lovely fight going on here for P10. Carl McCarthy sits out there in P10 and Lucas all in there behind him. Wayne Camage has now made the move there on Carl McCarthy. Stephen McCarthy and Willem Pienaar is also popped. That's those four cars you see on the screen there. That's going through that Ford chicane, or should I say Ford chicanes, because there's quite a few of them there. And then that heads, either you keep on going straight into the pits, or you take that last chicane down the home straight. But back to the guys up front there. Jason Kutsia, Troy Dolacek, and the man you see there in third position, Atinachel.
Peter van Zyl made a dive up on the inside there now, or on the outside. Oh, it's so confusing with these corners, these quick succession corners there, but a brilliant move there by Peter van Zyl to get up on the inside there of Jaco Steyn and move up into fourth position.
Yeah, that's that fight there for 4, 5 and 6, but this is the fight for the lead that you see coming towards us now. Scott Montanari still there in pit lane. Just by the way, I picked that one up on the leaderboard. As you have a look at these three hot shots coming down towards us, first, second and third, Jason Kutsia, Troy Dolacek and Atinachel. Then that second group is been led there by Jaco Steyn. Steven Duplessis sits in there just ahead of Steyn, and just Davi Hubert is dropping off slightly. He is now 3 seconds behind the combination of Steyn and Duplessis.
Yeah, right there behind them, or just 3 seconds behind them, is Davi Hubert. But there's another change of position in that 4th, 5th, 6th battle as Van Zyl made a mistake. Let's have a look here. That's Scott Montanari going into the pits and getting it all wrong, completely wrong there for Scott Montanari. But yeah, that is Jaco Steyn managing to get back past Peter van Zyl. Van Zyl having dropped down to 6. That means he lost that position to Steven Duplessis as well.
Through one of the chicanes they go down that Mulsanne Straight, and that is Jason Kutsia, Troy Dolacek and Atinachel. And there is not much, as Brian Peake would have said. You can cover these three with a handkerchief as they work their way down that Mulsanne Straight. And then they'll get to that final tight corner, which will take them into Indianapolis. Here comes Jaco Steyn. Right behind him is Steven Duplessis. Right on his case is Peter van Zyl. And closing up the gap slightly on them is Davi Hubert, followed there by Yaz Samai, who's still been crowded there on the 67 Porsche of JJ van der Merwe.
Then a bit behind them, Wayne Camage, he's got his hands full there with Kyle McCarthy. Stephen McCarthy starting to drop back a little bit from them. Willem Pienaar sits there in that the 13th position, just ahead there of Herman Lazarus.
Right, Lazarus is out in that 14th position. 1.9 seconds behind him is Robbie Teens. That is a bit further down. Robbie is in that 15th position. But let's go back to these three at the sharp end of the field. It's Jason Kutsia from Troy Dolacek, from Atinachel, 0.2 of a second between P1 and 2, and 0.3 of a second between P2 and 3. That is all that is in it for Kutsia, Dolacek, and Nachel, as that second group is getting closer to them, as a matter of fact, and that group has now been led by Steven Duplessis. He's just ahead there of Jaco Steyn, who is ahead there of Peter van Zyl.
Yeah, that is a tight battle between that second group of three as well. As Frankie said earlier, you can literally cover them with a handkerchief. That's how close the racing is between these guys. That's looking back from Stephen Duplessis at the nose of Chicane. That's how close that Porsche is. And the slightest mistake, we'll see another position change happening between these three.
But further down, Yasamai has still got his hands full there with JJ van der Merwe. There is Yasamai. There's JJ van der Merwe behind him. And 3.4 seconds rounding off the top 10 is the Mercury 222 Porsche of Wayne Camage. There comes Wayne Camage, and closing up on Camage, only 1.2 seconds behind him is Kyle McCarthy. It's a battle of the McCarthys there, Kyle and Stephen, for that 11th position.
Yeah, a battle of the McCarthys as we see it out there. Then Willem Pienaar sits there in that 13th position, not too far back from them, but he is about 4 seconds ahead there of Herman Lazarus. But things are heating up in the front. It is Jason Coetzee that leads them 4/10 of a second, 2/10 of a second. Behind him is Troy Donachek and Atti Nagel waiting in the wings as well.
Ooh, look at Troy Donachek right there on the case of Jason Coetzee. Donachek is saying, come on, Durant Motorsport, you want a fight? I will give you a fight. Let me know what this young man can do. He's a superb karter. Then again, so is Jason Coetzee. And both of these two hotshots do Extreme Festival as well. So both Jason and Troy know their ways around real tracks and in sim racing as well. And Donachek is all over him. He is all over the back there of the Durant Motorsport outfit of Jason Coetzee. He's right underneath that back wing there, FC, of Jason Coetzee.
Oh, climbing onto the brakes there slightly is Coetzee trying to back up Donachek into a mistake there. Donachek has to let him go as he climbs off the power onto the brakes. A brilliant move, the brake testing there by Jason Coetzee.
Now that is what you learn in karting. That is exactly what you learn in karting. Because remember, karting, you got your accelerator on the right foot and your brakes on the left foot, and then they literally keep that foot flat, and then they feather that brake pedal to back each other up. That is a clear-cut karting move. It was done there by Jason Coetzee.
Everybody pulling out all the stops here in the season final of the Porsche 992 Cup out here under the auspices of MSA. Strange to say, we're 14 minutes into this race, but only on lap number 4.
Yeah, well, 13.5 Ks, you would expect that. And Yasamai is still out there. He is behind JJ van der Merwe, 3/10 of a second between himself in P9 and van der Merwe in P8. And 2.9 seconds behind them is Wayne Camage. But back to our 3 leaders we go once again. And it's still Jason Coetzee from Troy Donachek and Atti Nagel. And literally nothing between them. I think they're making their way now down Indianapolis, if my facts are right, towards the Indianapolis corners, and then that will take you to the Porsche Curves, and that is still Jason Coetzee from Troy Donachek and Atti Nagel, and they're going to come FC pretty soon to lap Scott Montanari.
Yeah, they're on their way to lap Scott Montanari, but Frankie, it just shows you the skill of these drivers to drive that close at those speeds, not make contact with each other, not stumble all over each other. That just shows real racing prowess. But this is playing into the hands of Jason Coetzee, of Troy Donachek. Because remember now, Donachek is in the slipstream of Jason Coetzee. There's a big, nice hole punched into the air in front of him, not using as much fuel to get the car going. And that might add a extra half a lap or a lap when it comes to
pit stop times. Yeah, I agree with you. But so far, the man with the best seat in the house there is the man in 3rd position, Atti Nagel, because he's not been pressurized by Stephen Duplessis yet, who, by the way, has broken away from Chicane. There's 1.4 seconds between Duplessis and Steyn, but Steyn has still been hassled there by Peter van Zyl, only 4/10 of a second between Steyn and van Zyl.
Yeah, that battle has spread itself out a little bit. Davy Hubert is the next man to come through. He's in a bit of a no man's land out there in that 7th position. He's 4.5 seconds behind Van Zyl, and JJ van der Merwe another 6 seconds adrift down the road from that. But he's got his hands full with Yaz Samai, who is not letting him go.
Yeah, then rounding off your top 10 is Wayne Camage in that the 222 car. There you see Wayne coming to view now with the Mercury sponsored outfit. And then behind them, the McCarthys are still going one-on-one for that 11th position. Kyle ahead of Stephen, and 0.2 of a second between Kyle and Stephen McCarthy.
Yeah, they're sitting there ahead of Willem Pinaar, who's out there in the number 15 Castrol GTX sponsored Porsche. He is 1.1 second ahead there of 1.5 seconds ahead of Robbie Teens in the Teens Bolt Porsche in the number 14 car. And he is another second ahead there of the cheaper cars.co.za Porsche of Herman Lazarus.
And then a minute behind them is the 75 car in P16, and that is Colin Plitt, a minute and 1 second behind them. Then Uncle Cyril Ginsberg, only 6.2 seconds between himself and Colin Plitt, and Cyril in that 17th position. And then 9.8 seconds behind him in 18th position is one of our commentators that commentate up north, and that is Stephen Koenig behind Cyril Ginsberg. But Yasamai is right there with Davy van der Merwe. Hubert has got now between Van der Merwe and Samai is Davy Hubert. He's moved up now to P8.
Yeah, JJ van der Merwe actually slowly but surely starting to pull away from Yaz Samai, and that's made him caught up to the back there of Hubert, and that's now got Hubert in that sandwich between JJ van der Merwe and Yaz Samai.
But look who's coming there behind them, Wayne Camage. Wayne Camage is not far from this group of cars. He's Wayne Camage at all. As a matter of fact, if you have a look at the front runners, there is now, we're still Jason Kutsia, Dolacek and Nagel, but here comes McCarthy.
There's a move behind McCarthy. Stephen McCarthy's in trouble because Willem Pinaar's right on his case.
Yes.
Stephen McCarthy's got to watch out because Willem Pinaar is absolutely flying.
Right, this is replay of Stephen McCarthy in the Sujin Properties outfit. I think he might have lost the tail somewhere. No, just a replay of him going through those S's, McCarthy. So we'll have a look and see as we look here at the Davy Hubert working his way through in the KFC sponsored Porsche, and then it turns it inside out.
As sad as that is, that car just made me very happy.
It made me very hungry too.
But yeah, Davy Hubert out there in the number 9 KFC sponsored car, but back on board with your race leader, Jason Kutsia, who is serving there as a hole puncher for Troy Dolenschenk once again. Just look at it. There's absolutely nothing between them as they go hard on the brakes to go into that right-hander.
It's going to be a hell of a fight. Ati Nagel is in the, as I said before, he's now got the best seat. He's now 8 seconds ahead there of Stephen Duplessis, that is in that 4th position. So he can literally afford to relax and have a look-see what the Jason Kutsia and Troy Dolenschenk is doing. So whatever they do, you do the opposite and try and make a move somewhere. But there in the background, you can just see Stephen Duplessis coming into play, and once again Peter van Zyl and Jaco Steins all over him. We should see the second group come into view. Do we see them? There they come into view. Just there behind the leaders is Stephen Duplessis, followed by Peter van Zyl and Jaco Steins.
Yeah, at one stage it looked like Stephen Duplessis was starting to pull clear from the pack, but that's now all come back down to a lot closer racing between himself and van Zyl and Stein. Then the next 3 group to come through, that is JJ van der Merwe, Davy Hubert and Yaz Samai, with a lonely Wayne Camage out there in 10th position.
Yeah, and then behind Camage, a lovely shot. Look at this train coming towards us. That is Carl McCarthy. Right behind him is Willem Pinaar, Stephen McCarthy, Robbie Teens, and Herman Lazarus. They're all in this group that you see. They're all 4 of them in the same picture, and they're all chasing down Willem Pinaar's 12th position.
Fastest lap for Troy Dolenschenk so far, 4 minutes at 2.408. He just posted that one, and he is definitely the man on the move. Just dropped back from Kutsia ever so slightly to get a nice clean run out there in that 2nd position. He's putting a lot of pressure on Kutsia without saying too much. He just says, hey, I'm here. If you don't make a plan, eventually I am going to dart past you.
Well, we've got 14 minutes to go before we see the checkered flag in this one, and Ati Nagel is right in there. This is a replay of Willem Pinaar making his way into the pits. Willem Pinaar and the Castrol GTX Porsche heading into pit lane.
So I wonder if is that for damage or is that strategic for pit stops?
Well, 21 minutes in, I would think it's possibly pit stop, FC.
But there's a move. There's a move. Dolenchik takes the lead around the outside there of Kutsia. Goes Troy Dolenchik. That's going to put him on the inside of that corner. Hard on the brakes they go, and Dolenchik into the lead.
Well, remember, I think the next chicane on this Mulsanne straight is not a right-left. It might be a left-right. I'm not too sure about that. And if that's the case, then Jason will have to tuck in right underneath Troy Dolenchik. And Attinagel will be doing the same. I still say Attinagel is just playing the waiting game here. There's nobody behind him. It's a long, long way before we see Stephen Duplessis. And here comes Kutsia. Here comes Kutsia, and yeah, the chicane goes the other way, and that plays into the hands of Jason Kutsia.
Jason Kutsia retakes the lead of this race there with Troy Dolenchik as Kutsia goes up on the inside there of Dolenchik once again. Attinagel just sitting there watching this brilliant piece of racing as they come down the straight. It is Dolenchik that's now got the lead, but it's 2/100ths of a second between them. Not much in between it. Who's going to dive into that corner first? They're side by side, and it is Kutsia. Kutsia hangs on to that lead.
Well, Attinagel sitting there in that third position. He's not going to let these two get away from him, that's for sure. And as we watch them, here comes Stephen Duplessis. Right behind him is Pieter van Zyl and Jack Steyn. That's that second group of cars you see coming into view there. As we stick aboard with our main front three, the two leaders are virtually side by side. There is the 3/100ths of a second between Dolenchik and Kutsia, with Nagel just hanging back slightly. The two of them are still side by side going into that right-hander, and Dolenchik holds on. Dolenchik stays in the lead there. Jason Kutsia second, Attinagel in that third position. And Attinagel is just watching to see exactly what the Dolenchik and Kutsia is going to do next.
Brilliant racing stuff out there with Dolenchik taking the lead there ahead of Kutsia. Then Nagel, Stephen Duplessis still in that fourth position. He's got a hard charging Pieter van Zyl, with Jaco Steyn getting ever so closer to the back end there of van Zyl.
And then JJ van der Merwe in that seventh position has still been hassled heavily there by Jas Samai and by Davy Hubert. We'll go to that one now, as that is what Steyn is seeing. He's seeing that back bumper and the rear wing of that Van Zyl Porsche just there ahead of him, and ahead of both of them in a P4 is Stephen Duplessis, with 7.9 seconds behind Attinagel, but down in P7. There's a lovely fight there for 7, 8 and 9 between JJ van der Merwe, Jas Samai and Davy Hubert.
Yeah, Davy Hubert eventually had to succumb there to Jas Samai. Samai worked himself up into 8th position now, and he's now going to try and hunt down JJ van der Merwe. Wayne Camage is getting closer as well, but Attinagel dives into pit lane.
So nearly 25 minutes done. Attinagel, the man that sits there in that third position, has dived into the pit. This could be strategy, FC. There's no ways I can get past you, so maybe I'll dive in and try and do the undercut on you and come out ahead of I should have said both of you. We don't know, but 25 minutes is done, so definitely it is pit stop time. There is, and going into the pits as well, is Kyle McCarthy.
Yeah, Kyle McCarthy diving into the pits as well. Davy Hubert currently in that 8th position. He's going to try to he gets past JJ van der Merwe. Van der Merwe, did he go into the pits as well? No, that was a proper racing position, so Van der Merwe must have made a mistake, because that's promoted Samai and Hubert up 2 places.
Yeah, with Van der Merwe dropping down now to P8, so 25 minutes done. When are these top two going to make their way into the pits? Troy Dolenchik and Jason Kutsia. 7/10ths of a second separating Dolenchik from Kutsia. Duplessis is now in that third position. But remember, those first 8 cars have not made pit stops yet.
Yeah, no pit stops for the top 8, and this is a very, very long circuit. If you miscalculate of when you need to come in, you might get stuck on the side of the road without any fuel.
Don't want to be out of fuel at the Le Mans circuit, that's for sure. Here comes Jas Samai, Davy Hubert and JJ van der Merwe right in there. Then we see Attinagel. Remember, Atti was the first of the top 3 to make a pit stop. He's sitting down there in that 9th position. Then Wayne Camage, Robbie Teens has got Herman Lazarus, And right behind him, we have got Stephen McCarthy.
Yeah, Stephen McCarthy sitting there in that 13th position. Will Ati Nagel have, he's got open track ahead of him. He's got 5 seconds ahead of him before he catches JJ van der Merwe. And that gives Ati Nagel the opportunity to stretch his legs, do a couple of clean laps, as there was almost contact there between Hubert and JJ van der Merwe. It's close racing out here for that 6th, 7th, and 8th position.
And Davy Hubert in the KFC-sponsored Porsche moves up there into that 7th position, ahead there of JJ van der Merwe. And as they work their way around in 9th position is still Ati Nagel. And here he comes right back at him again. Davy Hubert and van der Merwe, they still going 101. Davy on the inside and sitting there on his left-hand side, and taking that position away from him is van der Merwe.
Well, Peter van Zyl is also in the pits right now as he's dropping down the order. So Peter van Zyl also having dived into the pits out of that battle with Steven du Plessis and Jaco Steyn. But the race goes on here. Davy Hubert and the likes of JJ van der Merwe and Yas Samai all still battling it out there for those positions. With Davy Hubert, it's dropping back, but he's not giving up.
And here comes Ati Nagel, 3.6 seconds behind the combination of van der Merwe and Hubert. Then Wayne Camage, 3.3 seconds behind him in P9. And then Robbie Teens in P10. Been hassled there by Herman Lazarus in that 11th position. And they are only 1.4 seconds ahead of the man in P12, Stephen McCarthy.
Yeah, Stephen McCarthy out there in 12th position. Jason Coetzee on the move again, starting to get closer and closer to the back end there of Troy Dolenchek. Dolenchek not pulling away from Coetzee as quickly as he thought he would, but Coetzee still has a shot to get this. The question is, when are these guys going to dive into the pits?
Right now, they're going to dive into the pits. And as FC says, when they say to him, bud, we're going to move into the pits right now. And both leaders are in the pits at exactly the same time. Will du Plessis follow suit? Yep, yeah, yes he does. And into the pits goes Stephen du Plessis.
Next man will be Jaco Steyn. He also dives into the pits. That would mean that Yas Samai will probably be the next man to dive in, as will be JJ van der Merwe. Let's see what they all do. Question is, will they make it out before Ati Nagel can catch up to them? Or has Ati Nagel done enough on his outlap?
And look at those three coming in at the same time. That is Yas Samai, JJ van der Merwe, Davy Hubert. They're all coming into the pits. And here comes the man that FC was talking about, Ati Nagel.
Ati Nagel, the man on the move. He's making his way down the main straight towards the Dunlop Curves and the Dunlop Chicane. Robbie Teens goes into the pits as well. Everybody diving in. Herman Lazarus, Kyle McCarthy, Stephen McCarthy, all of them coming into the pits. As, around about lap 8, 29 minutes into this race is where it all is happening. Where is Ati Nagel? Nagel's at the top. Nagel is leading this one almost a full second ahead of Troy Dolenchek.
That is exactly how you do the undercut. Well done there to Ati Nagel. When they came in the pits, actually the overcut, because they came into the pits and he came around them. And so that's the overcut that was done there by Ati Nagel. He caught them in the pits and he just drove past them down the main straight and into the lead. So well done there to Ati Nagel, as Wayne Camage is making his way up the pits, and so is Robbie Teens and this man Herman Lazarus.
Yeah, all starting to filter out now. Now the question is, can Ati Nagel fend off an attack from the man right there on his back bumper? It's already come down to half a second, less than half a second is Troy Dolenchek on the back bumper there of Ati Nagel. And you can bet your bottom dollar Jason Coetzee, he might be 2 seconds down the road, but he'll be joining that fight pretty soon as well.
Yeah, what Dolenchek and Coetzee will be saying, they could get this right. And look at Stephen du Plessis. There is 0.05 of a second between himself and Jaco Steyn, and du Plessis takes that position away from Steyn.
Yeah, big battle out here between du Plessis and Steyn now moving ahead, or du Plessis moving ahead of Steyn rather, with Davy Hubert. And there we go at the front. Dolenchek retakes the lead with Ati Nagel having to settle for that second position. Now the hunt is on for Jason Coetzee.
Well, we'll have a look and see. That's an overtaking maneuver. Nagel on the left-hand side of your screen, Dolenchek on the right-hand side, and that was too easy for Troy Dolenchek.
Yeah, and right there behind them is that third place car of Jason Coetzee. Coetzee fancies himself a possibility of standing on the top step. But before he can do that, he's got to catch Atinachel. He's got to pass Atinachel, and only then can he think of trying to go and catch Troy Dolenchik. But down the road, Jaco Steyn making his way. There we go, side by side. And it is a Steyn that now moves up into 4th position.
Yeah, well, remember the move was made there by Duplessis on Steyn, and now Steyn has decided to retaliate, and Jaco Steyn taking that 4th position back there from Stephen Duplessis. Yes, Dawie Joubert coming towards us. Only 1.5 seconds between himself and JJ van der Merwe, with Robbie Teens in that 8th position, being hassled there by Wayne Camage. There you see the Mercury car just behind the Teen Bolts car. That is Robbie Teens and Wayne Camage. Then coming into view now is Stephen McCarthy, and right in there behind him is the cheapercars.co.za car of Herman Lazarus.
Just under 3 minutes left in this race as Jaco Steyn currently sits there in that 5th position, trying to get back at Stephen Duplessis. Duplessis stretching his legs a little bit as Wayne Camage makes his way past Robbie Teens for that 8th position. This fight is far from over between Duplessis and Steyn, and none of them can afford to make a mistake.
Those positions have been chopping and changing, and here comes Wayne Camage. He sits there on the right-hand side of Teens. The two of them are side by side. Camage 222, and then the Teen Bolt car just sitting there on his outside. That is Robbie Teens, and they're not letting each other go. This is a replay that we're looking at now between Robbie Teens and Wayne Camage, with Camage getting his nose ahead there of Teens, and then Teens saying, no thank you, I'm going to come up on the inside. And the two of them are still side by side in this replay, and they were never going to give it away, but somebody has to yield eventually. And in this replay you see they are still side by side, the two of them, and giving each other enough room to play in FC.
Yeah, definitely. You can see the respect. I mean, it's been so close for so long, and they haven't gone and touched each other at all. So a lot of respect, a lot of hard racing between these two. And both have had it, you know, the one corner they're inside, the other corner they're on the outside, and very, very brave. And Teens threw it away. That's what we were holding on for in this replay.
I wonder if there maybe wasn't slight contact. I don't know. Well, we can have a look and see again. Yeah, there Gary says there was contact, and that's why you got sent packing. But Dolenchik now, look at this. After this pit stop, this has blown the top three all apart, because there's 1.2 seconds between Dolenchik and Nagel, and then there's 1.5 seconds between Nagel and Kutsia.
Into the final minute we go. Dolenchik leads them from Atinachel, from Kutsia, from Stephen Duplessis, from Steyn, from Joubert. Then JJ van der Merwe is the next man there in that 7th position, ahead there of Wayne Camage in 8th. Here, hard on the brakes there was Camage in 8th, as he has gotten past the likes there of Robbie Teens. Then it says McCarthy that's up into 9th, with Herman Lazarus in 10th, and Teens dropping down all the way back to 11th.
Well, there is 30 seconds left on the clock for Troy Dolenchik before he sees a checkered flag. This will be the last lap, because they're going down the Mulsanne Straight, and it's a long, long way to go before they see that checkered flag. Remember, they do 4 minutes a lap, and there is 15 seconds left on the clock. They're going down the Mulsanne Straight, heading towards Indianapolis. And so FC, this will be the final lap for Dolenchik, Nagel, and for Kutsia.
Keep in mind that Scott Montanari is away on points. Not a problem for Scott Montanari. But Atinachel and Troy Dolenchik are in fact 2nd and 3rd out there. And Atinachel ending up, if all goes well, just behind Troy. That will keep him in 2nd. And that will give Troy Dolenchik then 3rd overall.
So all to play for here, as time is officially out, and they are going to make their way towards the start-finish line of this race. Dolenchik leads this one 0.2 of a second ahead of Nagel. Jason Kutsia in that 3rd position, 2 seconds down the road. Stephen Duplessis 15 seconds further adrift.
This might be the final lap, but it's not done. It's not done between Nagel and Dolenchik, and Nagel's got his nose ahead. Nagel is a brave man to have a go with Dolenchik. Dolenchik won't back out. Dolenchik will use all that karting experience. He's going to muscle his way into the lead. And that is pure karting experience, that from Dolenchik. Never give up. Knees out, elbows out, and do anything to hang on to that lead, knowing that you've only got a few more corners left.
Yeah, only a few more corners left, and that might the COC might have a look at that one and say, boys, behave. You guys are in the top 3 of this race. No matter what happens, just finish the race in one piece.
Well, JJ van der Merwe and Dawie Hubert still haven't given up on each other. That's Dawie you see on your right-hand side of the screen, and JJ that you see there on the left-hand side. They are still side by side, and it is Hubert that gets his nose ahead there. But FC, we are heading now towards a checkered flag. I think they're making their way now through the Ford curves. It's hard to see where they are exactly on the circuit, but they are definitely not far away from the checkered flag now. And Nagel has realized, don't try your luck with Troy. You're not going to win.
Yeah, on their way to the checkered flag as they go through the Ford S's there, the Ford chicanes. Through those chicanes they go now. It's Dolenchek from Ati Nagel. Checkered flag is out. Nagel tries to dive for the inside as they go through the chicanes there. But across the line goes Troy Dolenchek in P1. Ati Nagel brings it home in P2. Just ahead there of Jason Kutsia in P3.
Stephen Duplessis having a fight there with Stein for P4 and 5. Through the Ford chicane they go now. And will Stein have a lunge somewhere? Yes, he will towards the line. And it's going to be Duplessis that gets to the line. 600ths of a second ahead there of Stein in P5.
Can't get much closer than that. Dawie Hubert is the next man that'll come through there 21 seconds down the road. He's in that number 9 KFC Porsche. He's just a half a second ahead of JJ van der Merwe. Something can still happen here. No, Dawie Hubert takes P6 ahead of van der Merwe in P7. And the next man that'll come through is this one over here, the 222 car of Wayne Camage.
Guys, 14 seconds behind van der Merwe, but that 8th position is secured because in P9, 2.1 seconds behind him will be Stephen McCarthy. At only 1.6 seconds behind him is Robbie Teagues, just ahead there of Hammer Lazarus. That ends 9/10 of a second behind Teagues.
Samai is the next man that'll come through in that 12th position. He's 18 seconds behind Herman Lazarus. Across the line he'll go now. Brings it home in 12th. Colin Plitt will be the next man to come through in 13th position in the number 75 Porsche. Scott Montanari, your championship leader and unofficially your championship winner. Scott Montanari bringing it home in 14th position. He's going to cross the line now. There we go. And the next man down the road is Kyle McCarthy in P15.
Yeah, 5 seconds behind Montanari is Kyle McCarthy. And then Willem Pinaar coming home 4.6 seconds in P16 behind Kyle McCarthy. And that is your top 16. Stephen Koenig, 48 seconds behind Willem Pinaar, finishing in that 17th position, will be the man in car 38 for Team Heat together. And that is Stephen Koenig in 17.
Yeah, and then after, just behind Stephen Koenig, about 9 seconds down the road from him, is the elder statesman, Cyril Ginsburg. But let's just see here as Koenig makes his way around the circuit. There he comes into the Ford chicanes now. There he goes into the left-hander, right-hander, another left-hander into the right-hander, towards the main straight, and then across the line he'll come in 17th position.
And well done to Uncle Cyril Ginsburg. He will finish in 18th position and he will not finish last. Well, there comes Cyril out of that right-hander, those 4 chicanes, and he will finish his race as well, Cyril Ginsburg. Well done there to Cyril, 10.4 seconds behind Stephen Koenig. Wow, brilliant stuff out there for the Porsche Cup, brought to you by Canvas Intelligence and ASAP Used Motor Spares.
Yeah, so let's do a rundown of your race results. Troy Dolenchek taking the win ahead of Ati Nagel. Jason Kutsia brought it home in P3 with Duplessis, Stein and Hubert rounding off your top 6.
Then JJ van der Merwe in P7, followed there by Wayne Camage, Steve McCarthy, Robbie Teagues, Hammer Lazarus and Yaz Samai rounding off your top 12.
Yeah, after Samai, Colin Plitt was out there in P13 with Scott Montanari 14th, Carl McCarthy, Willem Pinaar, Stephen Koenig, and Cyril Ginsburg, your top 18 finishers. And unfortunately, a couple of DNFs there for
Peter van Zyl.
Peter van Zyl was one of them, and then we also had De Nobrega. Tristan De Nobrega that also had a DNF.
Jeez, that was bad luck there for Tristan De Nobrega. Did not make the checkered flag. But well done. Unofficially, your Porsche 992 Cup champion for 2022, the man in car 71, Scott Montanari.
Yeah, and then a well-deserved P2 in the championship. P2 in today's race as well. Ati Nachel did a brilliant job out there today. And Troy Dolenschenk bringing home third in the championship.
Well, let's just check. We've got Ati Nachel that's joined us in the second gear live studio. Ati, can you hear us?
Yes, I can, Gary.
All right, we have got a sound bar that can give us that sound, but unfortunately we can't hear it. So, Ati, we'll watch the sound bar and we will pick up when you finish speaking. Brilliant drive. Look, Scott Montanari was right up top and he didn't even need to race today. But a brilliant drive for you to an overall second place. A lovely dice there with Troy Dolenschenk as well. Take us through today's race.
Yeah, look, Gary, today was nice. It's always nice racing with the guys. Like you said, Scott was basically the season. He was ahead all of the time. Troy, he basically joined us halfway through, but very fast driver. For me, just basically to keep up with him today is more than I can ask for. It's just been a brilliant season and a big championship.
Well, that's the voice of Ati Nachel, and we've also got Troy Dolenschenk, the man that he was having such a lovely dice with. Troy, good evening to you. As always, as Frankie says, never ever give up. Elbows out, knees out, you name it. We also can't hear you here in the studio, but the folks out there can hear you. Take us through the series, Troy, and today's race.
Yeah, how's it, Uncle Gary? Always cool to obviously race in the Porsche Cup Series. It's been an awesome league so far. Obviously, the first time they've run it, so very great job that they've done there. Yeah, so as Ati said, I joined from about halfway through the season, and yeah, it's been an awesome season so far. We've won pretty much the last, I think, 3 races, but all of them have been very good and very tightly contested. And yeah, this race went very nicely. I think it was the top 3, Ati, myself, and Jason were there on the same pace the whole race. So that was obviously very awesome with us 3 being so close for the whole race. And then I think at the end it was just something different that Ati did. He pitted probably a lap before and just probably saved a bit more fuel throughout the race, so got out ahead. So that was obviously something that mixed it up a little bit. And Jason and I had quite a cool dice, and then Ati and I at the end also had a lacquer dice. So yeah, very big thanks to you guys who presented this, and also to Sujin, the sponsor for me this year. And yeah, thank you.
Brilliant stuff. Nice to have a chat there with him. And then also Jason Kutsia. Wow, Jason's done a lot of racing with the iRacing recently. And, well, I think he's had a very eventful session. Jason, a great drive out there today. A word from your side.
Yeah, geez, thanks, Uncle Gary. Yeah, I mean, I think it was a really good dice between me and Troy. Ati obviously keeping in there. We tried to get rid of him in a way, because obviously the SIP's so big. So yeah, I mean, he really caught us out of that strategy. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, it was a really fun race. Obviously that car is super hard to drive. But anyways, yeah, really enjoyed it. Now I have to get ready for the GTE race. So yeah, big thanks to you guys for all the commentary. I'm sure the stream was really insane. So yeah, thank you.
Well, brilliant stuff. That gives us the latest information from the drivers. We're going to take a short break and we're going to come back to you with where the money lies. 30,000 for first, 20,000 for second, and 10,000 for third. The MSA GTE series. We're going to take a short break, and we'll come back to you live from the second studio with the voice of West Frans Motorsport, Frankie Yennis, and the man from Joost and Rage Productions, FC Nieuwoud. Well, just when you thought you'd have to stick around a little to see what's coming up next, well, they already just about starting with the qualifying session. For those of you that just joined us, welcome back. You in the arms of the Second Gear Productions, the Second Gear Studio, live with you tonight from the friendly city of Cape Town. The voice of West From's Motorsport, Frankie Yennis, and the voice of Ghost RC and Rage Productions, FC Evo, bringing you the live commentary. We're back to the exact same circuit, but Frankie, now it goes about the dollars.
This is what it's all about. The GTE series brought to you by Canvas Intelligence and ASAP New and Used Motor Spares in conjunction with the Second Gear Productions and Motorsport South Africa. We're back at the Le Mans circuit, 13.5 Ks. The track temperature is different. It's gone up. It's a 40 degrees Celsius track temperature, 25 degrees outside, 33% chance of rain, clear skies, and a 20-kilometer-hour wind. FC, this is what it's all about.
Yeah, well, it looks like we might just be able to have a chat with Jaco Steyn. That's in the lobby. Jaco, can you hear us?
Hi, Gary. Yes, I can hear you guys.
Well, there we go. That's Jaco Steyn. I can see on my soundbar when he's talking to you, Jaco, from everybody in South Africa involved with iRacing. A massive thank you for what you do for iRacing. You must be super duper chuffed with the results that you've achieved in 2022.
Yes, definitely. It was a great success. A little bit of up and down as we go along, but we finished quite strong. And quite exciting stuff for next year. So, yeah.
Well, a big thanks to Jaco for going live with us. And, yeah, well, I tell you what, he does massive amounts of work with the likes of Mike Verrier on a regular basis. They spend so much time in the background making it all possible, and we really appreciate what they do. So Frankie, we're out now on the exact same circuit. It's GTE cars that is going to be out there. This is the last round. Byron Mitchell, that's presently leading it, and I don't think he can lose out points wise. Luke Lucchesi, anything better than a DNF should give him second overall. Julian from the RS not able to be out there today at all, and he's in fact overseas. So Leighton Ferry must, ex-Polar Cup champion 2021 from Extreme Festival, he needs to be in a top 5 to be able to get one up on Julian from the RS and pick up that third position. Should Byron Mitchell, should Luke Lucchesi have a DNF, which is not impossible given the intensity of this form of motorsport, it is even possible that he can then, in Leighton Ferry, can put another title behind his name today. So they're out there with the qualifying session at the moment. Let's have a look once, as we know, we saw last time with the lap times that they've got. We have to have an outer lap. Once we've got the outer lap completed, it then goes to a hot lap, 2 of them in fact. And well, you've got to have no offs, no problems whatsoever to be able to get all that inside of 10 minutes. And that is, Frankie, in fact, Dr. Mike Verrier, 8-24/7 out there.
Well, I've got I tend to agree with what FC said earlier on. You've only got 10 minutes. It takes you 4 minutes to do a lap. You only literally get one flying lap. So if you mess that one up, well, then that is basically you're going to start towards the back end of the grid. And that is the Ferrari of Dr. Mike Verrier, 8-24/7, making its way around. But so far, the quickest man out there, FC, is Yuri Swart with a 3 minutes 50.400 seconds.
Correction, Frankie. Leighton Ferry says he's got other ideas. 3 minute 50.161. That improves that time of Swart by about just over 2 tenths of a second there to go faster than Umpi Swart. Byron Mitchell currently in that third position with a 3 minute 50.798, and Lucchesi putting up a time there of a 3 minute 50.836.
It's going to be hot. It's going to be hard up front there. That's Graham Stephen you see going around with the BMW. And Graham in that 6th position with a 3 minutes 52.913. Jason Kutsia to Runt Motorsport. He just had an outing earlier on. And here is Leon van Wyk, car number 14, 353.829. And the quickest man out there, still Leighton Fourie with a 350.161.
True, but Johan Fourie just bumped down Byron Mitchell and Luke Lucchesi as he went to third fastest with a 3 minute 50.431. Just 300ths of a second slower than Umpi Swart. Luke King goes and bumps down Mitchell and Lucchesi even further as he puts up a time of 3 minute 50.657. Good enough for fourth.
Matt Shorter with a 351.304. So far he sits there in that P7. There is Andrew Brown with a Sabenza BMW. Andrew Brown, car 11, 351.524. And there is Willem Botha from Gazoo Racing so far in that 9th position. Francois Hubert with a 352.195 is Francois Hubert. So far in that 10th position is Francois.
Graham Stephen in that current 11th position there with a 3 minute 52.913. Then Jason Kutsia, who just got out of the Porsche, hopped into the Ferrari, now in that 12th position on a 353.031 in that 12th position. And Natim Samanga in 13th with a 3 minute 53.547.
That man you see on screen there in P14, that is Leon van Wyk, P14, car number 14 with a 353.829. And then rounding off the top 15, Ferrari number 72 of Sander Bakari with a 354.017.
Next man out there in 16th, Noor Hendricks with a 355.282 in the 901. Then it is the BMW of Peter Hubert, the 777 BMW of Hubert out there on a 3 minute 55.731 in 17th position. And Captain Peter van der Spey, in that 18th spot on a 356.052, but he gets bumped down by Renier Hubert, who goes 17th fastest in 355.364.
And that is Renier Hubert out there. He's in a Porsche. And then in 20th position, BMW number 99 with a 357.780 is Johan Engelbrecht.
Right, so that is your grid so far. Leighton Fourie leading it all out there with a 3 minute 50.161. Can anybody improve? Does anybody have enough time to improve as we just go into the final 2 minutes of qualifying?
Well, that's Swayze Hubert that's out there. He hasn't put up time yet. Keegan Masters has not put up time, but he's not on track at the moment. Raymond Duggan is also out there as well, and he is trying to get another lap in. And then Mike Verrier as well, trying to put a lap time in there. But at the sharp end of the field, Leighton Fourie. Now remember, Leighton Fourie's got to get a top 5 to be able to bump up past Julian Familiaris to get into the top 3. So he's driving right now for 10,000 rand.
Well, Gary, we just saw Byron Mitchell improve to a 3 minute 50.055. Then Umpi Swart said, no, I'll take it on a 349.982. And then Leighton Fourie says, bugger you all, I'm still taking it. 3 minutes 49.887.
And it's only Leighton and Umpi that's done very high 49s, 349s out there. Well, there's a minute to go before qualifying ends. If you haven't put a time up yet, you're going to be in trouble. Mike Verrier pops up there in that 17th position with a 354.812. So Mike has put up a time. So far, 22 drivers have posted times with 45 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, riding on board there with Matt Shorter, currently in an 8th position on a 3 minute 51.304. Let's see if Shorter can improve before the time runs out. That is Andrew Brown that pulls it off to the side. Says he's had enough. 30 seconds left in this qualifying. Can anybody beat Leighton Fourie?
Well, that's Leon van Wyk sitting out there in that 13th position. There's 20 seconds left to go. I don't think anybody will improve at this point. There's Sander Bakari with a PB of a 354.017 is Bakari, and he is 4.1 seconds behind Leighton Fourie.
Swayze Hubert not being able to put up a lap time in time, and unfortunately that means he's going to come off the tail end of the field. Not what he wanted whatsoever. So here we go.
All for the big bucks. The Canvas Intelligence MSA Series 2022, round number 8, the final round. Leighton Fourie takes them off pole position. Alongside him, Yuri Umpi-Swart, Byron Mitchell and Luke Lucchese fills row number 2, with Johan Fourie and Luke King sitting in row number 3.
Row 4, Francois Hubert and Matt Shorter. Row 5, Andrew Brown and Willem Botha. Row 6, Jason Coetzee and Graham Stephen. And row 7, Leon van Wyk and Raymond Duggan.
Natim Samanga sits there in that 15th position. Alongside him, Sandra Bakari. Behind them in row number 9, Noah Hendricks and Mike Verrier, followed by Rainier Hubert and Peter van der Spey rounding off row number 10.
Then Peter Hubert and Johan Engelbrecht in row 11. Row 12, Keegan Masters and Swayze Hubert. And on his own in row 13 is Corneille Breut.
Cars starting to grid up. Just listen to them rev it up. High octane racing out here. 60,000 Rand up for grabs with the series coming to an end tonight. Who will be your winner? Who will take away some cash? And who will be left asking questions? Where can they improve? As everybody starts lining up, just waiting for Umpi-Swart to fill up that second position and Johan Engelbrecht to also make it to the grid. And then we can get going.
Well, this is for all the marbles in the bag. And the marbles here is not only a championship, but a lot of marbles in your bank account. A lot of money that's been made available. A big thanks to Canvas Intelligence, ASAP Motor Spares, and brought to you by Second Gear Productions. Remember, this is a Motorsport SA sanctioned event, so there will be COCs and Stewards FC keeping an eye on this one.
Yeah, remember all the results given here tonight will be unofficial until ratified by the clocks of the course afterwards. And as I'm led to believe, there will be an official prize giving later in the year where we will crown the official winner of 2022 Sport GTE MSA Canvas Intelligence Series champion.
But I'll tell you what, I'm just as excited as what these drivers are up there, that's for sure. Look at those names. Where in the world are you going to see a list of names like this on a track together? Nowhere else, but only on internet racing, that's for sure. Simulator racing at its best.
Yeah, at its best. As this is going to be I don't know, I think, they start on the grid, so this is going to be quite a long formation lap behind the safety car as they make their way to the start of this race. Leighton Fourie, Umpi-Swart, Byron Mitchell, Luke Lucchese, Johan Fourie and Luke King. That top 6 must be sitting there, starting to sweat it out. The left leg starting to jiggle, the right leg just feathering the throttle as everybody starts finding their positions on that rolling grid. And it's going to be a good one.
They're heading now towards that Ford chicane or the Ford Curves. I think they formed up on the Indianapolis straight, which took them through Indianapolis and through the Porsche Curves all the way down to the Ford Curves. There's the pit entrance on their right-hand side. Leighton Fourie darting around with Umpi-Swart there on his left-hand side into the Ford Curves. They go now, and then from there they'll go into the main straight, and those 5 lights will go on and off, and it will be an hour and a half of absolute chaos. And I must say, Fourie timed that start spot on as he climbed on the gas. The lights went green, and there was a brilliant start off the line there, FC, by Leighton Fourie with Umpi-Swart right in there behind him, followed by Byron Mitchell.
Beautiful sight to see all those Ferraris, BMWs and Porsches dash down that main straight. But it's all out war out here at the start of this race. Leighton Fourie leads them from Swart, from Mitchell, from King. Then Johan Fourie, Lucchese, Matt Shorter in there as well. The biggest gainer on that start was Luke King, who's gone from 6th all the way up into 4th.
Yeah, he's moved up a couple of places. There's Luke King. There's Andrew Brown in the Sabenza car. And he's sitting there in 10th position behind Willem Botha and ahead there of Jason Coetzee. Brown's actually gone down 1 position as a matter of fact. But it's all about Leighton Fourie, Umpi-Swart, Byron Mitchell, Luke King. There's Johan Fourie. Fourie is all over the back end there of Luke King, fighting there for that 4th position.
Yeah, fighting there for 4th as Johan Fourie taking it off of Luke King. Lucchese's dropped it down to 6th position. Then Matt Shorter, he's made up a position since the start. Francois Hubert lost a position. Lucchese going backwards as he's battling it out there with Matt Shorter.
Johan Free and the guys are racing down the Mulsanne straight there. And behind him is King. Right behind him is Lucchese. Right behind him is Matt Shorter. Look at this train of cars. There's a crash into the chicane there by somebody right at the back of the field, and that will cost that driver dearly. It might be Sway Schubert. There is a replay, so FC, it must be Sway Schubert. Yes, it is. He understeered, oversteered, locked up, and then hammered the Omco barrier and the tires pretty hard.
Yeah, completely missed his braking mark before that one and just had nowhere to go other than into the tires. But Leighton Free leads them. He's starting to pull away from Durant Motorsports, Umpi Swart and Byron Mitchell in second and third. Swart and Mitchell battling it out there. Then Johan Free in fourth, Luke King in fifth, Lucchese in that sixth position with Francois Hubert. Oh, Hubert losing a position there to Matt Shorter.
Well, that's we'll see the intervals coming up now. Oh, look at this. They're having a look there. Luke King, Luke Lucchese, that's Lucchese. Right behind Lucchese is Matt Shorter. Francois Hubert is in there. Andrew Brown, Willem Potter. Look at that lot of cars all tucked in there behind Lucchese. There's a whole gaggle of cars, 10 of them, I would guess. That's right in there behind Luke Lucchese. Have you ever in your life seen anything like this?
Man, oh man, I'll tell you what. The excitement is real. The nerves are real. And the battles are hard. Just look at how close all of them are there. It's 1/10 of a second, 3/10 of a second. The highest it goes is about 6/10 of a second. That's how close it is between that mid-pack.
Well, it's a fight all the way from P1 all the way down towards P14 for that matter. And everybody is involved in it. There goes Lucchese. Behind him is Shorter. Behind him is Francois Hubert. Only 1.4 seconds behind them is Willem Botha. But has been hassled heavily there by Graham Stephen, Leon van Wyk, Jason Kutsia, Andrew Brown, Raymond Duggan, and Noah Hendricks. They're all in that train of cars that's racing down this long straight.
Yeah, it's all out racing out there. There's so much that's happened here in the first 3 minutes, and it's only still lap number one. A lot more can still happen in this race. Matt Shorter applying a lot of pressure to Luke Lucchese. 1/10 of a second is all there is between the two of them. Just look at Shorter lining up Lucchese. Lucchese seems to be in a spotter bar there.
Well, that's three BMWs all over each other there, and the train has been led there by Luke Lucchese as we ride aboard here with Matt Shorter in that seventh position. 2/10 of a second between himself and Luke Lucchese, who's only 7/10 of a second ahead there of Francois Hubert. He's Shorter, and look at Matt climbing all over the curbstones there, all over the back end there as they race down that main straight. There's Jason Kutsia. Right behind him is Andrew Brown, and just ahead of Kutsia is Leon van Wyk.
Yeah, Leon van Wyk sitting there in that 11th position. Behind him it is just Jason Kutsia, then Andrew Brown, followed by Raymond Duggan. Keegan Masters made it past Noah Hendricks, and then Sandra Bakari. But Byron Mitchell is the man who's closest to making a move there in that front four, as he sits there in third position, just half a second behind Umbiswa.
Yeah, and that man you see there, Luke King, is all over the back end of the Johan Free Ferrari. Free in P4, King in P5. Here comes Luke Lucchese. Right behind him is Matt Shorter. Then it is Francois Hubert, followed there by Willem Botha. Then it's Graham Stephen. It's a whole row of BMWs that you see racing down that long straight.
Yeah, behind the row of BMWs is the first Ferrari in the form of Jason Kutsia, who almost makes contact there with Andrew Brown as they come down that long straight. Kutsia must already be quite tired, but also quite hyped out from his Porsche Cup race, and now he jumped into the Ferrari. He finds himself in that 11th position and battling it out there with Leon van Wyk and Andrew Brown.
Yeah, not too far behind them, only 1.4 seconds is Raymond Duggan. We ride aboard here with Leon van Wyk. Is all over the back of it. Jason Kutsia. They are side by side. Durant Motorsport sits there on his outside, and Leon van Wyk has got his nose ahead of him there. Van Wyk Jason Kutsia, as a matter of fact, dropped behind Andrew Brown. That is that fight that we see out there between Brown and Kutsia, as a matter of fact, and they're just in there behind. Van Wyk gets in that 11th position.
Well, Frankie, while all of that went on, we missed a big passing maneuver. Byron Mitchell has moved up past Swart, and at one stage he pulled about half a second clear. Here's another big battle happening between Luke King and Johan Free. There's the replay of Mitchell passing there on the inside of Umpi Swart. brilliant overtake there as Mitchell takes that P2.
Now the Durant boys are sitting second and third at this point in time. There is Ferrari. Behind him is Luke King. Then it's Luke Lucchesi. Then it's Matt Shorter. Then it's Francois Hubert. Then it's Willem Botha. Then it's Graham Stephen. Then it's Andrew Brown. Right there is Leon van Wyk. Then the Ferrari of Jason Coetzee and Keegan Campos. And just behind them, a second behind them, in the other BMW is Raymond Duggan.
Raymond Duggan there in that 15th position. He is about 2.7 seconds ahead of Sandro Bakari. But Leon van Wyk in trouble because Andrew Brown is starting to pressure him because Brown's got Coetzee battling him. And Brown made a big mistake, and that's allowed through Keegan Masters and Raymond Duggan as well.
Well, Masters through. Duggan has gone through. Brown has lost a couple of positions there. He's 2.5 seconds ahead of Sandro Bakari as we have a look at Leon van Wyk. And Van Wyk is 2.4 seconds behind Graham Stephen, but they're all racked and stacked in there behind Van Wyk. We go back to the guys up front. It is Leighton Fourie from Byron Mitchell, from Yuri Umpiswart. It is a Fourie in P1. It is a Durant boy sitting second and third. Then it is Johan Fourie in P4. Right behind him in P5 is Luke King, only 1.5 seconds ahead of Luke Lucchesi. But FC Lucchesi's got them stacked in there behind him.
Yeah, he's got to deal with the likes there of Matt Shorter, Francois Hubert. Willem Botha has dropped down to about 2 seconds behind that pack there. Then it is Graham Stephen. Oh, Luke King makes a massive mistake. Gets the rear wheel on that. Oh, he's going to turn in front of everybody.
Yeah, I just did. I don't know if I hope we didn't take anybody out when he rejoined the circuit again. Climbed over those curbs and just lost the tail end of that number 13 BMW.
Yeah, tried to flick it around there. Oh, lucky stayed out of the way. There is everybody going to mess him. Oh, he reversed out of the way. Good move there by Luke King.
Well, that's cost Luke a big time because he is all the way down now in that 16th position. He's Luke King, and he'll be saying a few words to himself in that simulator seat, that's for sure. But the Durant boys are sitting second and third. Now, will we see Mitchell and Swart work together throughout this one to try and get that lead away there from Leighton Fourie? Yuri Swart in that third position. Johan Fourie there in that fourth place. That's him coming towards us now, and right behind him, 1.8 seconds, is Luke Lucchesi. 1.9 behind him is Matt Shorter. 0.8 of a second behind him is Francois Hubert, and 1.8 behind Hubert is Willem Botha.
Yeah, the guys are battling it out there for those positions as they make their way down here. Keegan Masters, he's currently finding himself in that 10th position as he just got past Leon van Wyk. A brilliant overtake there for Masters around the outside there of Leon van Wyk as Van Wyk slips back down to 11th position.
Yeah, and then Jason Coetzee is right in there as well. He's on the case of Leon van Wyk. That's the other Durant Motorsport driver, but he is all the way down in that 12th position. Then we have got Andrew Brown, Raymond Duggan, Sandro Bakari. There's Nathan Samanga coming towards us. He's all the way down in that 17th position, and the only Porsche out there in 18th, that is the Camel Porsche of Rainier Hubert.
Yeah, Rainier Hubert out there, the lone man in the German Porsche. The rest of them all BMWs and Ferraris. It is an all-out battle out here as we ride on board there with Noor Hendricks in the number 901 car. He's battling it out there with the likes of Mike Verrier and Peter Hubert. They're all racked and sacked and packed right there by each other. Luke King makes up another position as he gets past Sandro Bakari to fight his way back to the front.
Keegan Masters sitting out there in that 11th position. He and Jason Coetzee is chasing down Leon van Wyk. That is in that 10th position. As a matter of fact, he's having a look. Keegan Masters is having a look there at the Leon van Wyk. They are side by side. Masters has got his nose ahead there. Van Wyk is 0.05 of a second between Masters and Van Wyk. They're still virtually side by side. Right behind them is Jason Coetzee, and it is Masters that completes an overtaking move there on Leon van Wyk.
Yeah, Keegan Masters doing a brilliant job out there today. Leon van Wyk not giving up just yet. He's going to try and fight back to get that position back, but it is down to 0.4 of a second between the two of them as they, half a second now between Masters and Van Wyk, and Jason Coetzee starting to creep closer as well.
Yeah, Jason Coetzee only 0.3 of a second in there behind Van Wyk. That's 11 and 12. And just ahead of them is Masters, who is 2 seconds behind Graham Stephen. So we're right aboard with the man of Dunlop Motorsport, the number 77 Ferrari in P12, and that is Jason Kutsia, and he's all over the back end there of Van Wyk, is all over the back end there of the Keegan Masters Ferrari.
Yeah, all the guys are being settled into their positions. A lot of the guys close enough to challenge, but everybody on such an equal speed out here. Could see it now starting to gain. It's down to 1/10 of a second. He's right there by Van Wyk. Van Wyk just a little bit later on the brakes. Makes it through the chicanes there, but look at how he could see flicks that steering wheel to try and make it past the Leon Van Wyk.
You've got to be careful when you climb on that shark's teeth. It's going to throw you all over the place. You're going to be very, very careful when you go on that shark's teeth through those Ford curves. You'll bounce all over the place. This is a replay of Johan Engelbrecht losing it, and right behind him was the Porsche there of Reinier Hubert.
Yeah, Engelbrecht dumping it into the tyre wall there. And now riding on board with your race leader. He's done enough so far. We've forgotten about him all out there in the lead.
He's a guy leading.
Yeah. Leighton Fourie is the man leading it. Byron Mitchell finds himself in that second position with the Yuri Umpiswart in third.
Right there, right behind them, it is Johan Fourie, and Fourie is 0.5 of a second behind Lucchese. That's the Ferrari, and the BMW, that's in P4 and 5. And here he comes. Here comes Luc Lucchese side by side, and that was an easy overtaking maneuver there from Lucchese on Fourie, and opening up a gap there as well on Johan Fourie.
For a moment, it looked like he had DRS or something the way he shot past Fourie there.
Johan was pretty slow there. I don't know what was going on there, but Johan is now 1.1 seconds behind Luc Lucchese.
Yeah, Fourie in that fifth position. Matt Shorter finds himself in that sixth position, 1.3 seconds down the road, with Francois Hubert another 1.3 seconds down from them. Willem Botha in eighth, he's 2.5 seconds down the road, and 1.9 seconds ahead of Keegan Masters in ninth.
And then in P10 is Graham Stephen, followed there by Leon Van Wyk, and Leon Van Wyk has got Jason Kutsia behind him. Now he's got Jason Kutsia ahead of him, and that's at fight for that 11th position.
Yeah, they were very much side by side coming down that long straight, and then into that left-hander they went was Leon Van Wyk and Jason Kutsia. Then Raymond Duggan in 13th ahead of Andrew Brown in that 14th position. He is 1.3 seconds ahead of 15th place Luke King, who is in turn just under 3 seconds ahead of Sandro Bakari in 16th.
The only real fight so far out on track is the one for second position between the Dunlop Motorsport boys, between Mitchell and Swart. It's 0.5 of a second by them. But Luke King is 1.5 seconds behind Brown. This is a replay of Luke King, and that is that mistake that he made. That mistake he made early on. That's when I said he'll be saying a few words in that sim seat, and that at that point in time dropped him all the way down to 16th.
Yeah, but he's working his way back up into that 15th position. Bakari, Msimanga, Briet Hubert, Reinier Hubert, Peter Hubert, Mike Verrier, Noah Hendricks, and all of them stacked in there behind him. Peter van der Spey all the way down in 23rd as well today.
I'm watching Max Shorter and Francois Hubert. There's only 0.7 of a second between them. That's for 6 and 7. Here comes Leon Van Wyk, Raymond Duggan, and Luke is right behind him. Andrew Brown and Luke King. That's going to have to launch some serious comeback, does Luke King. He can literally make the move on Brown and Duggan, then he will be not too far behind Leon Van Wyk. He's the man you're riding on board with now in the BMW. In P15, that is Luke King in the Dotsoft +2 plumbing BMW.
It's all out war out there. Luke King's going to be battling his way from the back towards the front of the field. We know he's quick enough to do it. The question is everybody else going to be just waving him on by, or are they going to battle it out there and say, hey, if you want a higher position, and that is Raymond Duggan that throws that one away.
Big slide there, and in all sorts of trouble was Raymond Duggan in the RAD Racing or the RAD Racing BMW. That's the number 71 Beamer, and in a lot of trouble out there is Duggan.
Look, I'm no expert, but I do believe that tarmac offers a little bit more grip than grass.
I would think so. I tend to agree with that, unless you want to mow the lawn.
Leighton Fourie, the man in charge of this race, 2.7 seconds ahead of this group here. Byron Mitchell and Umpi Swart, both for Durant Motorsport. They're in a league of their own in this one. They are 4 seconds ahead of fourth place Luke Lucchesi.
And right behind him in P5, as a matter of fact, 1.8 seconds behind him in P5 is Johan Fourie. And he's nearly 3.5 seconds ahead of Matt Shorter. There's Fourie, there's Shorter behind him. But Matt Shorter's got trouble, and the trouble is called François Hubert. There is 0.3 of a second between Shorter and Hubert. As a matter of fact, the man in P8, Keegan Masters, has got issues, and those issues is called Willem Botha, 0.7 of a second between the two of them.
I actually want to say that Botha had issues, and that was called Keegan Masters. Masters actually having moved past Botha there. Graham Stephen finds himself there in that 10th position, 2 seconds, 2.7 seconds behind Willem Botha, with a hard-charging Jason Coetzee in that 11th position. And Coetzee not getting away from Leon van Wyk in that 12th slot. Yeah,
there you see the two of them come towards us, and then here comes Luke King. Now, Luke King's only 1.6 seconds behind them, and here comes Van Wyk on Coetzee. He's on the inside of Coetzee, and Leon van Wyk gets his nose ahead of Coetzee, but the chicane goes to the left first, and that gives the advantage there to Jason Coetzee, but he must be careful not to exceed track limits.
I do believe that Coetzee might have to give that one back to the likes there of Leon van Wyk. Van Wyk alongside him now. Van Wyk's going for the overtake. Oh no, that is Coetzee. Yeah, that is Leon van Wyk getting past the likes there of Coetzee. Coetzee fights back the side by side. Early on the brakes goes Leon van Wyk. He's going to try to do a switchback.
But Luke is there. Luke is there with them. Luke King and Andrew Brown, as a matter of fact, they are right there with the combination of Coetzee and Van Wyk. So King and Brown is right in there. Those three BMWs all over the back end of that Ferrari.
Yeah, that Ferrari in a bit of trouble there as Matt Shorter makes a move there on François Hubert. Hubert momentarily got past Shorter, and Shorter says, no, thank you, I'll take my position back.
So we're right aboard with the man in 13th position, and that is Luke King. And Luke King once past Van Wyk. Luke King once past Van Wyk big time, and here comes Andrew Brown in the Sabenza car. He's just behind. You can see him in the Luke King rearview mirror. That is Brown. That is right in there with him, and there's 0.3 of a second between King and Brown.
So he was Luke King in his rearview mirror. Was Luke King.
Okay, sorry. Andrew Brown. Getting all excited here, guys. Come on, man. It's the season finale. But brilliant racing, that's why.
But Jason could see that as well.
Oh, well done.
Oh,
well done.
Brilliant stuff. Jason could see that. Jeez. Tell you what.
Fun, great stuff out there as they battled it out there. Andrew Brown.
Forgive us for making mistakes. It's brilliant stuff out there.
Andrew Brown is right there on the case of Leon van Wyk, who is in turn there right on the back bumper of Luke King. Luke King not looking to pull away from the pack just as such just yet, but he is going after Jason Coetzee.
Frankie,
I did a Murray Walker there.
Okay, don't forget about Umpi Swart. He's painting black lines around the circuit in that third position.
Yeah, no, Umpi is only 0.7 of a second there behind Byron Mitchell, and he's got a comfortable lead there of 3.7 seconds over Luke Lucchesi.
But you think Luke could see that?
I think Luke could see that, that's for sure. But Johan Fourie, 2.7 seconds behind him. Here comes Johan Fourie in the Johan Fourie and Son sponsored Ferrari. Then Matt Shorter, and look at this. Matt Shorter has got François Hubert and Keegan Masters behind him. Now, FC, I want to have a look. Gary, can you please show us? Keegan Masters, I think, has made up heaps and heaps of positions.
Let's have a look at the last lap times, and there they are. Wow, 3 minutes 50 as opposed to 3:53. Well spotted.
I would say Keegan is mastering the circuit.
Yeah, no, it was a masterful job. That
I tell you what.
Yeah, what can I say?
And yeah, I tell you what. All Murray Walkers here today.
Well, Matt is definitely trying to find the shortest route around the circuit, but something's happening out there.
Then I was just going to say, Keegan Masters, as I said, 15 positions. Yep. Keegan has moved up. There we go.
Somebody in the pits, that is Natim Simunga is in the pits. He was stationary for 15.1 seconds. Could that be for damage repair? This early on, probably.
Yes. Yeah, I would say he's probably got some sort of problem that he needed to sort out. So yes, this is the one. 30,000 rand for the winner overall of the series, 20,000 for second and 10,000 for third. Byron Mitchell right now in second position. He has got the championship tied up no matter what he does. Luke Lucchese in second on the log and fourth overall on the circuit. But if Luke Lucchese has a DNF, Julian Familiaris, who's not racing, will stay behind him. But Leighton Ferry in the top 5, that's going to make the difference.
Keegan Masters makes it past Francois Hubert, muscles his way up in there with that Ferrari, and now he's going to go after the BMW of Matt Shorter. But Francois Hubert not giving up yet. This is a three-way battle. Somebody's going to pull on the shorter stick.
Oh, here comes Keegan. It's another position he's made up. He's gone up 16 positions so far. But man, oh man, Shorter and Masters are going one-on-one, and right behind them is Francois Hubert. And they are still with each other. What a fight they're having. The two of them are absolutely side by side. And Masters in the Ferrari stays ahead there of Matt Shorter in the BMW. But now they are still side by side. There's nothing between them. What do you do, FC, if you are Francois Hubert?
Well, let's just say that Matt hasn't fallen short of the expectations.
There he goes. Matt Shorter definitely made a big mistake in that one and comes out at the short end of it with Francois Hubert getting past him as well. But the biggest winner out of all of this is Keegan Masters.
17 positions he's moved up is Keegan Masters, and he finds himself in that 6th position. And here comes Francois Hubert as well on Matt Shorter. And Hubert has got his nose ahead there of Matt Shorter. 2.7 seconds behind them is Willem Botha. And if they keep on like this, then Botha in P9 will be closing up pretty soon on the combination of Hubert and Shorter.
Yeah, Botha will try to catch up to that pack as soon as he can. He is around about 2.6 seconds behind that pack. He is 2.3 seconds ahead of the 10th place Graham Stephen, with Jason Kutsia still finding himself in very much no man's land out in 11th position, 3.8 seconds behind Graham Stephen.
But he's got only the BMWs in there behind him. The first one is Luke King, then Leon van Wyk, then Andrew Brown, as we see them go through the Ford curves and working their way onto the main straight. So yeah, Jason Kutsia might be in P11, but King and Jan Foury's dropping down the leader. Oh, he's in pit lane.
Jan
Foury
in pit
is
lane.
in pit lane, yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so Johan pits with how many minutes done? 23. Sure, okay, that's an early pit stop there for Johan Foury.
Interesting stuff. With an hour and a half of racing in this race, it'll be interesting to see when the guys start using their pit stops. Foury having taken it now. And, let's have a look here. There's a big battle going on here in front between Andrew Brown and Leon van Wyk. They're all running a slightly wide there. And hot stuff happening out here on circuit between van Wyk and Andrew Brown.
Yeah, van Wyk and Brown, and then King is right in there as well. Yeah, they come down towards us. And Andrew Brown and Leon van Wyk are absolutely side by side, the two of them. And it's Andrew Brown, and he's up there with the Sabenza car, and van Wyk is there on his left-hand side. He muscles him off the circuit. They're just bullying him out the way there. And Brown says, thank you, I'll take that 12th position away from you, Mr. van Wyk.
Yeah, well, Luke King is chasing down Jason Kutsia. Jason will be checking those rear view mirrors to see if he can see Luke King getting closer and closer. Just 0.3 of a second between the two of them is Kutsia and Luke King. That's the view from the back of Kutsia's car. If only Kutsia could see this now.
Yeah, Jason Kutsia 0.7 of a second ahead there of Luke King. That is in that 11th position. These drivers are driving the wheels off these BMWs and the Ferraris and the lone Porsche out there. But Francois Hubert is all over the back of Matt Shorter. There is only 0.3 of a second between Shorter and Hubert. Those two BMWs fighting it out there for P6 and 7 as they race down towards us. Here comes Francois Hubert. Matt Shorter is just ahead of him. Is he going to have a go somewhere? He's having a serious look. He's Francois Hubert, but driving neat lines ahead of him is Matt Shorter.
Yeah, Matt Shorter doing a good job staying ahead there of Francois Hubert. He did fall behind Hubert ever so slightly earlier on, but Shorter fought his way back but they were all shown a masterclass by Keegan Masters, who made his way up into 5th position, and he is chasing down that man in 4th position, Luke Lucchesi.
Oh, look at this one. Luke King makes the move there on Jason Kutsia. And Jason Kutsia dropping now into that 11th position. King making a move. But you must be careful, Jason, because here comes Brown and Van Wyk. Those two other BMWs have not done and dusted yet. Jason Kutsia, you see there, just behind Luke King. And then behind him is Andrew Brown. And right behind Brown in P13 is Leon Van Wyk.
Yeah, Leon Van Wyk there in a P13. Let's have a look here at this replay. Matt Shorter ran it a bit wide, coming off that circuit, leaving black lines onto that loose. And that could bring Hubert closer. And ooh, that puts him sideways going into the next corner.
And that's not what Matt Shorter needs at this point in time. That'll drop him down the leaderboard heavily. But here is Leon Van Wyk, and he's just behind Brown. But back to the man that sits out there in P1. Oh, by the way, we do have a race leader, and his name is Leighton Fourie, the reigning Polar Cup champion, not defending the title in 2022. And he sits out there in P1 with Byron Mitchell, 1.9 seconds behind him in 2nd position, and just under a second behind him in 3rd position is Yuri Umpiswart.
Yeah, Umpiswart sitting in that 3rd position. He is about 4.5 seconds ahead of the 4th place man, the guy from Pantera Racing, Mr. Luke Lucchesi. He is in turn 8.6 seconds ahead of Keegan Masters. Masters had a brilliant opening stint in this race, having climbed 18 positions from the start of it. Behind him, Franco Hubert made up 1 position. He is in 6th, followed by Willem Botha, Matt Shorter, and Graham Stephen.
Yeah, Matt Shorter, Graham Stephen, then Luke King. And he is trying to get away here from Jason Kutsia, but Kutsia only 0.7 of a second in there behind him. And just over a second behind Kutsia is Andrew Brown. And as a matter of fact, just a second behind Brown is Leon Van Wyk. So this little fight for this mid-pack positions is not done and dusted yet. Sandro Bakari is there in that 14th position, 9.7 seconds behind Van Wyk.
Yeah, Peter Hubert finds himself in 15th place, 17 seconds behind a Bakari, but he is 1.5 seconds ahead there of a Renier Hubert. Hubert in the lone Porsche is in fact 4.3 seconds ahead of a Corne Breed, who is got Mike Verrier chasing him down.
Yeah, then behind Mike Verrier, 3.5 seconds behind him in that 18th position is Captain Peter van der Spey. But we go back up to the sharp end of the field, and Matt Shorter's made the move there on Willem Botha. Shorter going up to P7, Botha dropping down to P8, and right on his case there is Graham Stephen. What a rumble we have up there. There is a Shorter and there is Botha, and right behind them in that 9th position is Graham Stephen, only 0.6 of a second behind Botha.
Yeah, just 0.6 of a second behind Botha, but Willem Botha is trying to get past Matt Shorter, and Graham Stephen's going to join the party pretty soon. This is going to be a 3-way battle for that 7th, 8th, and 9th position.
Yeah, you can see him in that rear view mirror there of Willem Botha. You see Graham Stephen. We look through that back wing there of the Willem Botha BMW, the other Beamer in P9 of Graham Stephen. 0.5 of a second between them, and Luke who's coming behind them. I also got to get that right sometime. It's Luke King, but Jason Kutsia has just taken that 10th position away from King. It's a hell of a fight between Kutsia and King, as well as Shorter and Botha.
Willem Botha, Matt Shorter battling it out there. Who's going to get the short end of the stick here? It's definitely not Matt Shorter at this stage of the fight. Matt Shorter just managing to stay ahead there of Willem Botha.
Well, I tell you what, it's heating up here in the studio, that's for sure. What a fight we have there. There is a Shorter, and right behind him is Botha and Stephen. Only 1.5 seconds, which is nothing behind him, is Jason Kutsia and Luke King, and for that matter, Brown and Van Wyk as well. So they are all fighting for that 7th position that belongs there to Matt Shorter.
Yeah, it's a massive fight out there for that 7th position. And then Andrew Brown, he finds himself in that 12th position. He is 1.5 seconds behind Luke King. He's got Leon Van Wyk that's hunting him down. It's all the way from 7th down to 12th, 13th even, that all stand a chance for that position.
Well, look at this. It's BMWs and it is Ferraris. At this point in time, it's BMW 6, 7, 8, and 9, and then also 11th, 12th, and 13. So the BMWs are crowding these Ferraris. Here comes Graham Stephen. He's just ahead there of Willem Botha, who is ahead there. So it's shorter Botha, then Stephen, and then Jason Kutsia. That poor Ferrari has stuck there in a BMW sandwich.
So you think Matt's fallen short of the expectations that there was before this race started?
Well, he had a good start at it, but he's basically only moved up one position. He was looking to make up a couple of more positions at the start of the race, so I do think Matt cannot be happy with the performance he's put out there. So
Yeah. Luke King is coming. I think has he got his nose ahead there of Kutsia? Yes, he has. But we look at this fight. And here comes Brown as well. So Brown and Van Wyk are right in there with him. We have a look at Luke King, and that's the overtaking maneuver there. Luke King on Jason Kutsia.
Well, we did say we were going to have a look at that, and what a lovely replay that was.
Right, so there's Luke King, there's Jason Kutsia. Now Leon van Wyk FC is ahead there of Andrew Brown.
Yeah, Leon van Wyk managed to get past the likes there of Andrew Brown while we were looking at that replay. And they've got Sandra Bakari 10.8 seconds down the road from them. So no real threat coming from that 14th position at this stage of the fight. But let's have a look at the went around the outside. Oh, Brown made a mistake. He went off the racing line onto that dirty stuff where there's absolutely no grip.
Right, 2 wheels on the grass, 2 wheels on the circuit. That's not going to help at all. At this point in time, this man that needs no help is Leighton Fourie. He sits out there in P1, 1.2 seconds ahead there of Byron Mitchell. And Mitchell is now 1.9 seconds ahead there of Umpi Swat. There's nearly a 2-second gap between them, and closing on them 4.6 seconds in 4th position is Luke Lucchesi, who's 9 seconds ahead there of 5th place man Keegan Masters.
Yeah, well, look, Lucchesi took a while to get his rhythm for this race going, but now he's busy making his way up the road there. Behind the likes there of Hubert, here's a big fight between Willem Botha, Matt Shorter, and Graham Stephen, and it's Matt Shorter that pulls ahead there, ahead of Willem Botha and Graham Stephen. This is going to be a hard-fought battle here between these three.
I don't know if you can go 3 abreast down here. On the dirt there was Graham Stephen, and here comes Graham Stephen. He's going to nail all of them. Graham Stephen might just get past both of them, but Matt Shorter says no. Matt Shorter says no, and coming back at them is Willem Botha. Looming in there behind them is Luke King. Right in there behind Luke King is Jason Kutsia, Leon van Wyk, and Andrew Brown, and they are right there with this group that is chasing down Matt Shorter.
Look, you can never discount Graham Stephen as he gets past Willem Botha there. Graham Stephen comes off of a very high from last week's Sports and GT Master Series race where he did exceptionally well. And so he is the man on the move at the moment as he makes it. He drops back there behind Botha again, but he is looking very racy.
Oh, they must not forget about the man behind them. Here comes Luke King. Look at Luke chucking that BMW around. Luke King, here he comes towards us. He's bringing Jason Kutsia and Leon van Wyk and Andrew Brown with him for the ride as well. This is a lovely fight out there for 8th position. Here they come down towards us, and Botha's got it wrong. And Botha, as a matter of fact, loses out there to Graham Stephen.
Graham Stephen flashes his lights. He says, get out of my way. I want to go chase down Matt Shorter. You had your chance. Now leave it up to me as Graham Stephen goes and catches up to him. But look at this view from Willem Botha's back wing. It is Luke King who's making a move there on Willem Botha. They're side by side coming down the Dunlop straight into the Dunlop chicanes. But Willem Botha just managing to stay ahead there of Luke King.
Oh, and now all of a sudden, Jason Kutsia is all over the back wing there of Luke King. And right behind him is Leon van Wyk. They've got away from Andrew Brown. He's 2.7 seconds behind Van Wyk as Brown, for that matter. So they're busy dropping Andrew Brown. But Luke King, he's got Jason Kutsia and Leon van Wyk right there with him. Man, what a fight this is. And Luke King is right on the back bumper there of Willem Botha.
Yeah, it is an all-out battle here between Stephen, Botha, King, Coetzee, Van Wyk, Brown getting left in the dust behind them. But this is where the battle is at the moment. Everybody else is spread out nicely. But, Frankie, have a look at the front of the field. Byron Mitchell has closed it down to 0.7 of a second.
Yeah, we'll go there now. It's a lovely fight that we're seeing out there for that bit back. And here we go to that fight for first and second. Umpi Swart is losing out slightly. Is he just taking a breather, Umpi Swart? One wonders, but we need to go back to this fight. Yes, that is the fight for Graham Stevens' 8th position. It's Buerta, King, Coetzee, and Van Wyk that is in this fight. Luke King is looking all over. Did he make contact there? He did. He made contact there with Willem.
Oh, Graham Stevens loses it. There was all-out chaos out there. There was a hard knock into the back there of Steven. I saw that coming. Once that initial contact was made, I knew this was going to end in tears.
Well, oh my word, drama. Luke King off the circuit there. Everybody all over the place. And Graham Stevens in the Gulf-sponsored BMW is in a lot of trouble. You lose tons of positions here, well, Graham Stevens.
Well, yeah, Graham Stevens, he was looking so fast out there. And unfortunately, that's how it ended for him, facing the wrong way into that corner. That is not how you want this race to go. And I can guarantee you that might end up with the stewards.
Well, Graham Stevens now in that 13th position. So, Luke King, Jason Coetzee. Right behind him is Leon van Wyk. Right behind him is Willem Buerta. And then catching up to them as well now because of this is Andrew Brown. So this has brought Andrew Brown back into play once again.
Andrew Brown getting closer and back into play here. 1.7 seconds behind Van Wyk is a Brown. But the moment he runs that wide like he did just now, that's going to start costing him time, especially when he kicks up dust like that, because that means he is completely off the fastest racing line.
Can you imagine how these guys are sweating it out there? This is a replay at Johan Fourie going into that left-hander and losing the tail end there of the Mike Fourie and Sons Ferrari.
Yeah, Johan Fourie all on his own out there in that... Let's have a look here what happened to Mike. Verio just ran it wide off onto the kitty litter. Made it back onto the circuit there without any other problems. Byron Mitchell is going after your race leader. And did he take the lead? Byron Mitchell took the lead.
Yeah, that's a replay of Mitchell taking the lead away there from Leighton Fourie. So, back to real time. There is Leon van Wyk right over the back, on the back bumper there of Willem Buerta. Catching up to them is Andrew Brown. He makes his way out of the right-hander. Matt Shorter disappearing down the road ahead of this bunch of cars is Matt Shorter. As a matter of fact, Matt is 4.6 seconds ahead of Luke King. That's got Jason Coetzee, Willem Buerta and Leon van Wyk there for company. That is the Luke King Beamer number 13. This is a replay of Johan Engelbrecht in the 99 BMW and losing the tail end there on the dirty stuff and turning himself around.
Yeah, that's not the way you want to face. And
you don't want to go there neither.
No, that's not a good choice. And it's taking a long time, and it looks like he can't get much turn on that steering at all. That's taken massive amounts of time for Jan Engelbrecht to get going again, and that's going to drop him a long way down the pack.
Yeah, not exactly what he wanted in that 99, but Jason Coetzee just ahead there of Luke King, 0.3 of a second between the two of them, as Luke King looks at the tail end of that Coetzee Ferrari just there ahead of him, and there is nothing between them, 0.2 of a second. Only 1.3 seconds behind them is Leon van Wyk, and 0.4 of a second behind van Wyk is Willem Buerta, and they are getting away now from Andrew Brown. That's nearly 4.5 seconds behind Willem Buerta.
Yeah, Willem Buerta is 4.5 seconds there ahead of Andrew Brown. But Leighton Fourie at the front end of the field is not letting Mitchell get away. And as I say that, Fourie retakes the lead in this one. Byron Mitchell having to settle back for second place as Leighton Fourie is on the hunt.
Well, the two of them are side by side. Watch out there for Yuri Umpiswat. He's sitting in that third place, and he's just watching them. He's only just over 2 seconds behind them. He is Durant Motorsports Umpiswat, and the fight is on. Then it's Fourie, then it's Mitchell, then it's Mitchell, then it's Fourie. Currently, it's Fourie that is ahead there of Mitchell, with Yuri Swart in that third position. Oh, and at the back, it's Luke Lucchese that gets it wrong. He was 4 seconds behind them, and Luke Lucchese made a big mistake out there.
That looked very strange. He just got that right hand back wheel onto the dirty stuff, had no traction, and that sent that Pantera Racing BMW facing the wrong way.
Now that's how you turn it around, Mr. Engelbrecht. Have a look at that.
Just
keep in mind that little spin, the dollar signs were turning around in Luke Lucchese's eyes, because if he gets a DNF, it can cost him 20,000 rand with Leighton Fourie on song and right up front. And if something goes wrong, say for instance that little incident there with Luke Lucchese did damage to the car that he ended up with a DNF, that you couldn't fix the car before the end of the race. It was 20,000 rand on the line.
Well, FC, with that happening, Keegan Masters got his nose ahead of him, and Keegan has now moved up 19 positions.
Yeah, Keegan Masters definitely delivering out here on what he set out to do today, moving up into 4th position. This is one of his best races in a long time, and it looks like it's definitely going his way.
Well, we are approaching the halfway mark in this one. 42 minutes done. 45 minutes will be the halfway mark, and Jason Kutsia all over the back end there of the Luke King BMW, and then Leon van Wyk is still being hassled heavily there by Willem Botha.
Yeah, Willem Botha still applying a lot of pressure there on Leon van Wyk, and Jason Kutsia moves up into 8th position. Luke King is involved there. There's problems as Luke King comes into pit lane. Is car number 13, Luke King, heads into pit lane.
Well, almost halfway, and Luke King into the pit area. Here comes recovering Graham Stephen, sitting down in that 13th position, and then not too far behind him in P40. Well, it's quite some distance behind him is Sandro Bakari, and Byron Mitchell also making his way. This is a replay of Byron Mitchell coming through towards us, and still fighting
position
there. Yeah, and still fighting there with Leighton Fourie. As I said earlier on, the two of them just keep on chopping and changing positions.
Yeah, that is Byron Mitchell in the lead of this race now, with Leighton Fourie in second. But they're basically side by side with each other once again. 0.06 of a second between the two of them as they come down that long straight. It's Leighton Fourie that's going to try to make a move now. He moves up towards the inside of Mitchell. No, it's towards the outside. Now he's going to try and do a switch back, tries to get his nose up on the inside. But Mitchell says, nope, I've got other plans.
Oh, that is one Ferrari looking at another Ferrari there. That's a Durant Motorsport, the Ferrari that Fourie is looking at. Now they're side by side. They're heading down the, I think it's the Indianapolis Straight at this point in time. We'll just confirm exactly where they are, but either way, it makes a difference. These two young guns are going one-on-one, and now it's Kutsia. Yeah, that's coming out of the Mulsanne Straight. Now they're working their way into Indianapolis. And closing up on them now, only 1.7 seconds is Yuri Umpiswart.
Yeah, Umpiswart 1.7 seconds down the road, but Leighton Fourie not giving up just yet. He's making the move once again. 0.08 of a second, and it's Leighton Fourie that takes the lead. Mitchell says, no, I'm fighting back. They're side by side. It's Fourie, it's Mitchell going through the corners there under the Toyota Bridge, and it's Leighton Fourie that takes the lead in this one.
What a rumble between these two Ferrari drivers. Are the best of the best you're going to find in South Africa. Leighton Fourie, Byron Mitchell, and it's playing into the hands of Yuri Swart. Is now less than a second behind Byron Mitchell is Yuri Swart. We could have two dogs fighting for a bone here, and the third dog walking away with it, the way Fourie and Mitchell is carrying on. And they must be careful. Yes, there's 10 seconds between themselves and Keegan Masters, but the way he's been climbing up that leaderboard, I wouldn't put anything past Keegan to be on the case of these guys pretty soon, as Van Wyk is still fighting out the FC with Botha.
Look, we're only halfway through this race, so if anybody can make up that 10-second difference, it is Keegan Masters. But riding on board with Leon van Wyk now in that 9th position. He is 0.7 of a second ahead there of Willem Botha. Buerta looking very, very racy out there in that Gazoo Racing car as he's right there behind Van Wyk. Somebody went off there. Who's that? Peter van der Spey. Captain Pete. Not his day today.
No, not his day at all. Running very wide, locking up on the loose, and you'll just keep on sliding into that tire barrier. Big wheel spin there in that gravel as he tries to get out.
Yeah. But Peter van der Spey back on circuit now. Umpi Swart, he's the man sitting in that third position. He's just 0.8 of a second behind a Byron Mitchell and a Leighton Fourie. He knows he only has to sit there because with the amount of money up for grabs, anything is possible out here. The slightest touch between those front two, and Yuri Swart could walk away with this one.
Yeah, Umpi 0.8 of a second behind them. Here comes Willem Botha. He's all over the back there of Leon van Wyk. And once again, Andrew Brown comes into play. There's 1.9 seconds between Brown and make it now 1.7 between Brown and Botha. That is there ahead of him. And they're chasing down the Van Wyk BMW. And here comes Graham Stephen, all the way down in 13th at one stage of the game, and he's now in that 12th position, and not too far behind him in 13th is the Sandro Beccari Ferrari.
Yeah, the Sandro Beccari Ferrari is out there in that 13th position. Courtney Breed currently finds him in 14th. Courtney Breed's had a very, very quiet race up until this point. We've hardly mentioned him, but he sits there in that 14th position. Leon van Wyk has managed to get past Andrew Brown. Willem Botha is now stuck there behind Brown as he tries to chase down Leon van Wyk.
As a matter of fact, yeah, Brown got past Botha as well, so I don't quite know if something went wrong there with Botha, because I still said they're bringing Brown back into play again, and now all of a sudden he finds himself ahead there of Botha. But the fight still continues up front here between Leighton Fourie, Byron Mitchell, and Yuri Swart Jr. That's there in that third position. There's nothing between those three Ferraris. And here comes the man that's moved 19 positions. It's Ferrari 1, 2, 3, and 4, namely Keegan Masters.
Yeah, Keegan Masters out in that fourth position. He's there ahead of Luke Lucchesi. Lucchesi 3.1 seconds behind the likes there of Masters. Behind Lucchesi, Francois Hubert finds himself 8.7 seconds down the road in that sixth position.
Yeah, and here comes the man that FC was talking about, Francois Hubert, in the Just Race BMW with the Wild Rose Gin on the side of that motor car. Then here comes Matt Shorter, not too far behind Matt is Jason Kutsia, and not too far behind him is Leon van Wyk, followed there by Andrew Brown and Willem Botha.
Willem Botha sitting there behind Andrew Brown, 0.8 of a second between Botha and Brown. He is about 8.5 seconds ahead of Graham Stephen. Stephen will be fuming after that earlier incident. Sandro Beccari sits there in that 13th spot with about 6 seconds behind Stephen and 20 seconds ahead of 14th Corne Breed.
Yeah, Corne Breed there in the AlphaTauri sponsored car, but here we go. First, second, and third, and once again, Byron Mitchell. Luke at the Byron Mitchell there. He's in that second position. And they are still fighting. There was 0.08 of a second between himself and Fourie at one point in time, but Leighton is holding on to that position. If I was Umpi, I'll just hold back slightly, because if these two guys make contact with each other, he doesn't want to be too close to them, that's for sure, because he does have the best seat in the house. He's 10.3 seconds ahead of the man in P4, Keegan Masters, as we ride aboard the nose cam here with the Byron Mitchell Durant Motorsport Ferrari.
Yeah, Byron Mitchell, he's got his sight set on Leighton Fourie. There's a close battle between the two of them, but Mitchell looks like he's done enough. Leighton Fourie has gone into pit lane. Leighton Fourie is into the pits.
50 minutes on the dot, and Leighton Fourie brings that red Ferrari down the Le Mans pit lane. Here comes Keegan Masters. He'll move up a position. He did not make a pit. Luke Lucchesi is also in pit lane, FC.
Yeah, Lucchesi also diving into the pit lane there. That promotes Keegan Masters up into third. Who else is in? Francois Hubert makes his way into pit lane in the 304 Wild Rose Gin car.
Now, what will Matt Shorter do? Will he also make... Yes, he does. Matt Shorter makes his way into the pits, and Jason Kutsia goes through.
Well, he could see that everybody else is going into the pits, so why should he?
Yeah. Just,
at least he was having a look, but then again, Luke Lucchesi is up into sixth position, and they are now piling into the pits. Luke Lucchesi, Francois Hubert, Matt Shorter, Leon van Wyk, Andrew Brown, Willem Botha, Graham Stephen. The only man that hasn't come through so far is Sandro Bakari, and he decides one lap more is where I'm going to be.
Yeah, he's going to do another lap there, so he'll move up tons of positions, but he's going to have to make his way into the pit area. Sometime he goes to P6, does Sandro Bakari, but that will be short-lived because he's going to have to make a pit stop in that 72 Ferrari sometime in the not-too-distant future.
Corne Brett currently in that 14th position. He's gone into pit lane as well as Lucchesi gets the wheels rolling. He's out of the pits. Leighton Fourie out of the pits as well. Francois Hubert makes his way out of the pits. Matt Shorter goes towards pit exit, and everybody else will be piling out behind them.
Yeah, here comes Matt Shorter out the pits. I see Leon van Wyk moving. I see Andrew Brown moving over there. I see them all starting to make their way out. Willem Botha is also heading towards a pit exit. They're all busy working their way out. As a matter of fact, I see Graham Stephen also moving now towards the pit exit.
Now, interesting thing here is Luke King has not yet pitted, as far as my knowledge goes, under strategy pits. I don't know even if you've gone into the pits to repair damage. Oh, he has done one stop, so that might be for damage, but I don't think it was a strategic stop, that one. So will everybody else be able to make their way past him, or does he still have to make a stop, or is that for position?
Leighton was in for 30 seconds that he was actually standing still, and if you look at everybody else's time, I think that is pretty much an earlier stop. Let's see on what lap did he actually do it. It was on lap number 13 and we're on lap 14. So yes, that is the front runner in terms of having been in and out of the pits.
But remember, first, second, third and fourth still need to make a pit stop. So there was a good move there by Leighton Fourie as Mitchell, Swart, Masters and Coetzee still need to make their way into the pit area.
Will be interesting to see what strategy routes these guys take as Byron Mitchell leads them ahead of Umpi Swart. Swart is now on the attack. He's now just a 6-2, and it's Umpi Swart that takes the lead there ahead of Byron Mitchell.
Oh man, awesome stuff out there. Here comes Keegan Masters, the man that's moved up 20 positions, but he himself still needs to make his way into the pit area. So does this man, Jason Coetzee, currently 26 seconds behind Keegan Masters, but that front four, when they hit pit lane, that's going to be interesting stuff.
So that man, in effect, Leighton Fourie, is in a very favorable position. I do tend to think that he is going to be promoted back to the top end of the field once everybody else comes in.
Yeah, effectively, FC, that is unofficially, you can call it still your race leader.
Yeah, definitely in the hands of Leighton Fourie there. It depends. And in goes Swart and Mitchell into pit lane. Goes Umpi Swart and Mitchell. Will Masters follow them through? And what will Coetzee do there? And now it's go time. Let's see what Leighton Fourie can do.
Yeah, Keegan Masters comes into the pit lane. Will Jason Coetzee come into pit lane? That is the question. Will that man from Durand Motorsport hit the pit lane? We'll have a look and see as he makes his way around. He's the only man that hasn't made a pit stop yet. First, second and third is in the pit lane. And yes, into pit lane comes Jason Coetzee. So up into P1 once again will go that red Ferrari of the man that you see in P5. You won't see a 5 behind his name much longer. You'll see a number 1 there, and that will be Leighton Fourie.
That's if he can make it to the end of the pit lane, because remember, these guys are standing good to go. Byron Mitchell, Umpi Swart, Keegan Masters, Jason, and there is a Leighton only coming through there now. So Leighton is still there. Umpi is on his way out of the pits. Byron Mitchell's on his way out of the pits. Keegan Masters is on his way out of the pits. And, well, that means that Leighton Fourie, there he comes now, from first down to fourth position.
Well, that buggered my theory up completely. I thought that he would just have done enough to hang on to that lead, but clearly not. So a ton of work that now needs to be done, FC, by Leighton Fourie, because I don't think that he would have thought that he would have been in that fourth position.
So you think Leighton laid down the timing and it didn't work out?
Yeah, pretty much. But I would have to say, at this early stage, with almost an hour into this race, if I have to pick a driver of the day, I would say Keegan Masters.
Yes. 20 positions he's moved up so far.
Yeah. But there's a big battle for P1 between Byron Mitchell and Umpi Swart. Mitchell has reclaimed the lead of this race, and he slots in there ahead of Umpi Swart. Umpi Swart's got 4 seconds between himself and Keegan Masters, but Leighton Freeze, the man on the hunt, he's right on the back bumper of that baby blue and white Ferrari of Masters. Can Leighton Free get past and go and hunt down the Durant boys? We'll have to wait and see.
Well, if I was Leighton, I wouldn't panic yet, because that's first, second, third, and fourth you're seeing there in that very same shot of yours. That's 3 and 4 you're looking at there now. That is Keegan Masters and Leighton Free, and just ahead of them, disappearing out of our view, is Mitchell and Swart. So it's not over yet. Do not, there they go. That's first and second going into that left-hander. Here comes 3 and 4 into that left-handed chicane. So it's not over yet. I would not, between these 4 FC, pick a winner yet.
Yeah, a lot can still happen.
The question is, why is Luke Lucchesi so far back? Let's go a little bit back in our replays. This is where Luke Lucchesi lost time, and that's why you see a 20-second gap between himself and the next man up in front of him. So Luke Lucchesi, that's him out on circuit, 22 seconds off Leighton Ferrari. And, well, you saw how long it took for the man to turn around, and that is what made the difference. That's why Luke is not in there. Remember, he has to pretty much stay where he is. Even if Leighton wins it, it doesn't make much difference. Luke Lucchesi up for 20,000 Rand. Leighton must be in the top 5. He is in the top 5. That means he will pass the man that's not in South Africa at the moment, Julian from the RS, who's not by his rig. So if Leighton can get 4th or 5th, and he's got a good chance, because right now he's in a very, very favorable position, is Leighton Ferrari, probably having a look at Masters if nothing goes wrong. And if he stays there, that's going to put 10,000 Rand in his pocket in a couple of minutes from now. In fact, it's going to be 32 and a half minutes from now. He's going to be the better part of 10,000 Rand richer.
Well, FC, like as Gary said, 32 minutes left on the clock, and first, second, third, and fourth is in the same view. There's only 3.8 seconds between second and third, for that matter. Between Smart and Masters, Leighton Free is going to have to get a move on if he wants to attempt the top 3. But these two Durant Motorsport Ferraris, man, have they done it spot on, Mitchell and Swart.
Yeah, brilliant driving from the Durant boys there. And then Keegan Masters doing a brilliant job out here as well today. He's worked his way up into that 3rd position. Now he's got a hard-charging Leighton Ferrari, who's sitting in that 4th position, who's gone down 3 positions since the start of the race. That's a position he doesn't want. He wants to be at the front end of the field, battling it out there with Byron Mitchell and Umpi Swart. But first, he's got to get rid of Masters.
Oh, running over that, the shark's teeth, that will do serious damage to your tires. But yeah, you got to do what you got to do. And Leighton will be saying, come on, Keegan, go, go, go. If you cannot catch them, let me through. I want to have a go at these Durant boys, because I at least want to get a top 3, not a top 4, that's for sure. But you can bet your bottom dollar that Garth de Villiers and the team is probably chatting heavily away over the intercom system to Byron and Umpi, and letting them know exactly where Masters and Fury is.
All out the war here for these guys. Let's go to the top of the field there. Byron Mitchell leads it from Swart, from Masters and Fury. Lucchesi in that 5th position, with Francois Hubert 4.6 seconds behind Lucchesi in that 6th position.
There is a Francois that is in that 6th place, 4.6 seconds behind him, and then 3.9 seconds behind him in P7 is Jason Kutsia. Then Luke King is in that 8th position, 5.2 seconds behind Kutsia, and he's gone down 2 positions. And then in 9th position, 5.4 seconds behind King, and down 1 position in the BMW is Matt Shorter.
Yeah, Matt Shorter there in that 9th position. He is 5.5 seconds behind King. Then Leon van Wyk is out there in that 10th position, but he's got Andrew Brown starting to pressurize him again. These two just cannot leave each other alone for that 10th and 11th position. Willem Botha 5.9 seconds behind them out in 12th position.
In 13th, 5.5 seconds behind Botha is Graham Stephen. There is Botha. Here comes Graham Stephen. And then 1.5 seconds behind Graham Stephen in 14th position is Johan Fourie. And then rounding off the top 15, 3.5 seconds behind Fourie is the Sandro Bakari Ferrari.
Yeah, Sandro Bakari in the Ferrari out there in that 15th position. But riding on board with Umpi Swart in the pink Durant Motorsport Ferrari He's out there in that second position, not letting Byron Mitchell get away at all at the front end of this race here, with Keegan Masters sitting in that third position 3 seconds down the road.
Oh, Keegan can see them. He can just smell that exhaust fume of those two Durant Motorsport Ferraris. Leighton Fourie right in there with him, only 0.4 of a second between Masters and Fourie at this point in time, and they can just see disappearing into that right-hander and now into the left-hander, the two lead cars of Swart and Mitchell.
Yeah, Leighton Fourie, the guy we're riding on board with here in the Ferrari. It is all Ferrari top four, with Lucchesi being the first BMW 24.5 seconds down the road. But this is the view from Leighton Fourie's helmet towards the back there of Keegan Masters' car, who's just 0.4 of a second ahead of him.
You can watch that dashboard there of Leighton Fourie, fifth gear, sixth gear, as he winds his way around, brings it back to fifth, back to fourth gear, stomps on the loud pedal. Will he hook third gear? No, he stays in fourth gear, going into that left-hander. That is Leighton Fourie. You can see he needs to change gears there. He's still in that fourth gear as they're busy working their way around now. This is towards I think towards the end of the lap, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, there's the Ford bridge. That's that Ford Curves that they're going through. So this is heading towards the end of the lap. FC, an hour and 2 minutes done, and with the length of the circuit, we've only done 16 laps.
Yeah, only 16 laps, but there was a big battle between Graham Stephen and Sandro Beccari for that 14th position, and eventually Graham Stephen managed to get past the likes there on that was Johan Fourie in that shot. But he was battling. Oh, Graham Stephen got it all wrong, and that's what's dropped him down towards the battle there with Sandro Beccari, and he managed to get back past him again.
And that is the replay that FC was talking about between Graham Stephen and Sandro Beccari after Graham got it all wrong, involved in a lovely fight there in that replay with Sandro Beccari.
And then Sandro Beccari eventually has to yield that position to Graham Stephen, that eventually recovers that spot, and going into that tight left-hander makes a bit of a gap between himself and Sandro Beccari. Let's have a look at the pit stops. Who's been in, who's been out, what's the differences? Everybody on the top 23, everybody's been in once. So I think you would kind of think that's where it all comes to an end in terms of interest in pit stops as such. What was the pit times in general that the guys were doing? Anything from 24 up to 31 seconds. Roughly when did they go in? Lap 13, lap 11, 12 and 13. That's where most of the people went in. The biggest gains and the biggest losers.
Yeah, biggest gainer definitely has got to be Keegan Masters, gaining 20 positions coming off the back end of the field and working himself up into that third position. Second highest, it's basically a tie between Coetzee as well as Suisse Hubert and Corne Breed, who all gained 4 positions.
And the biggest loser there, other than those guys that are out, is Johan Fourie. That's gone and lost 8 positions out there. But sadly, seems like we've got a retirement here for Anil Hubert in the only Porsche out there, and Raymond Duggan. But here's Andrew Brown. Him and Leon van Wyk have been having a hell of a fight, and Brown's been behind van Wyk for most of the time. And for the first time in this race, Andrew Brown has got his nose ahead there of Leon van Wyk.
Yeah, Andrew Brown has now moved up there past Leon van Wyk, but van Wyk not giving up. Van Wyk is making a move there. It's close there side by side. Leon van Wyk makes it past Andrew Brown and moves back up into 10th position.
Well, let's look at this. The Run Motorsport boys having a fight there. 600ths of a second between Mitchell and Swart. And it is Byron Mitchell that still holds on to that lead. But if these two are going to fight each other, this is exactly what Masters and Leighton Fourie wants. There's only 2.2 seconds now between Swart and Masters. And Keegan and Leighton will say, come on to run, boys, fight with each other. I am coming along, and I'm bringing Leighton Fourie with me for the ride as well.
You can imagine a very, very anxious crew chief on the radio there of the Durant Motorsport boys saying, hang on, as Umpi Swart takes the lead, Byron Mitchell's got to fight back now. but he's got to be on that radio saying, boys, you can back each other, but have some respect. If you take each other out, there will be consequences.
I think they're going to be told not to battle each other because they will be bogging each other down if they fight each other, and then Masters and Fourie will be back in it once again. There's 2.4 seconds between them. I would not fight each other if I was Yuri and Byron at this point in time, because Keegan Masters is saying to Leighton Fourie, come on, bud, follow me. Let's catch these Durant Motorsport Ferraris.
Let's have a look here at a replay of Peter van der Spey in the number 8 BMW. Really not going his way today. Just got it onto that curb, the tail end stepping out, and that puts that number 8 BMW very, very sideways.
Well, back to that lead as we go again. This is a replay of Leon van Wyk and Andrew Brown. And that is Andrew just in there behind Leon in the Sabenza car and trying a bit too hard and spinning it out. And that will now release Van Wyk ahead of Brown.
Yeah, that will release him as Willem Botha also gets involved with that one coming down the straight here. Behind him, you can see Johan Fourie as he works his way down the straight up on the inside there of the Sabenza BMW of Andrew Brown. And Botha says, thank you, I will take that.
Now, there was an overtaking maneuver there of Botha on Brown after Brown got it all wrong. But here we go. This is where we want to be. First, second, third, and fourth. Yuri Swart, Byron Mitchell, Keegan Masters, Leighton Fourie. That's now 2.1 seconds between Mitchell and Masters for second and third. And then right on the case of Masters, 0.4 of a second in P4 is Leighton Fourie. And once again, the Durant boys are side by side. And Mitchell this time gets his nose ahead as they go down the Mulsanne straight.
I wonder if this isn't a bit of a team strategy to give each other
pull along the straight, and you go past. Pull along the straight, you go past. But we remember, Frankie, earlier on you said 1.6. It's now 1.9 from Keegan to the back of the Durant Motorsport cars.
It was 2.4. It's now gone down to 1.9.
Well, I'm going to say, if they say you, me, as you guys are saying, it's not going to work. It won't work because you will bog each other down and you're going to bring the cars in P3 and 4 back into play again. So if that is what they're doing and the possibility is there, don't, because it's only 1.5 seconds between.
It's down to 1.5 now.
So that strategy, if that is the case, it definitely will not work.
Look, Lucchesi ahead there of Francois Hubert. Then 6 seconds further back, it's Jason Garcia. 1.7 back to Luke King. That had a very interesting ride earlier on. Matt Shorter, the next man out there, and he's in a little bit of no man's land. 6 seconds ahead of him and a fair gap behind him as well. Leon van Wyk, that's now slightly ahead of Andrew Brown, and then Willem Botha having a little fight of his own, and he actually gets past Andrew Brown.
Yeah, Willem Botha works his way up into that 11th position past Andrew Brown, as Brown put that BMW sideways earlier. Johan Fourie, this is the second race in a row that just does not go Johan Fourie's way at all.
No, then Graham Stephen, and right behind him is Sandra Bakari in that 15th position. And then 17.7 seconds behind them in P16 is Nathan Samanga in that number 2 car. And then behind him is the BMW, 3.5 seconds behind him of Peter Hubert. And oh my word, 24, nearly 25 seconds behind Peter Hubert is the 8-call 24/7 Rico Barlow Racing Ferrari of Dr. Mike Verrier.
Yeah, Dr. Mike out there at 18th position. Swys Hubert in 19th, followed by Noor Hendricks, as well as Corne Breed, Van der Spey and Engelbrecht. But back to the front of this race, it is Yuri Swart that leads them. He is almost a 0.6 of a second ahead of Byron Mitchell. Keegan Masters definitely starting to gain. That's down to 1.3 seconds. Keegan Masters on the move.
And he is moving away from Leighton Fourie. Leighton sitting now just outside of half a second. Although down that long Mulsanne straight, you will get a tow if you are that close, and he should be able to close it up again. 1.8 we said, 1.6 we said, 1.1 we have not said, and now 0.9 and 0.8 The man on the move, his name is Chicanes Masters.
Oh my word, this is exactly what we wanted to end the 2022 season off. A dogfight with 1 hour and 10 minutes gone. There's 20 minutes left in this one, and you cannot choose a winner yet. It could be Swart, it could be Mitchell, and
Mitchell's made a mistake. Mitchell's made a massive mistake.
Yes. Mitchell's made a mistake, and Masters goes up into that second position, and now Leighton Fourie will have a go there at Byron Mitchell.
Well, remember, Byron Mitchell's leading this one, and he doesn't need any more points to be able to win it. Did he maybe not get the instruction, just back off a bit, let Oompie go for the overall win? You hold them out, and in the meantime, Chicanes Masters says, well, if you're going to make it that slow, I'm going to come straight past you, and that might have just worked against him.
Yeah, well, I don't know. He's not going to let both of them come through. He might. I don't know what happened.
I don't think he's got a choice anymore. They're just mugging him.
Well, he's got a. I don't know if he might have made a mistake.
I think he made a massive mistake.
Yeah,
somewhere.
you're not going to allow.
You don't lose that amount of time.
No.
Just to allow drivers to catch up to you, trying to hold them back.
Correct. You'll back them up, yes, but you're not going to drop all the way down to P4. And look at Masters, the cheek of the man, flashing lights there at Oompie Swart.
Oh, he's saying it's time to go, buddy, because it's getting pretty quick up front there, and they're pretty much side by side. Can he make it through? Oh, they almost touch one another. And Leighton Fourie says, I'm looking towards a massive payday at the end of today. Byron Mitchell, at the end of this race, is going to put 30,000 Rand in his pocket if all goes according to plan. Luke Lucchese, 20, and if all goes according to plan, Leighton Fourie putting 10,000 in his pocket as well, but he's got to stay in that top 5.
Yeah, Leighton Fourie batting it out there with the Byron Mitchell. He moves up into that third position. Mitchell drops down to fourth, and that now allows him to start to try and go and fetch Chicanes Masters. Masters, in the meantime, is still busy catching Yuri Oompie Swart. It was 1.9 seconds. It's now down to 1.3 with just over 17 minutes left in this race. A lot can still happen.
Yeah, I tell you what, this is amazing stuff out there as we watch Luke King, and he's fighting for that 7th position there of Jason Kutsia. There's 500ths of a second between the two of them. They are side by side in that fight for 7th position, 7th and 8th as a matter of fact. And here comes Matt Shorter coming through as well, and that fight is going on there. And Leighton Fourie once again gets his nose ahead there of Byron Mitchell.
This is going to be a battle all the way towards the finish line as we have a look here. Leighton Fourie up around the outside there off Mitchell. Now he's on the inside, makes the move up but runs it slightly wide. Mitchell tries to come back at him, but this is the live racing. Mitchell back up on the inside there, but no, Leighton Fourie says you're going to have to work for this.
Well, they're going to literally hold each other back now, these two, Fourie and Mitchell, and that will allow Swart and Masters to disappear down the road. There's 2.5 seconds between Masters and Fourie, as a matter of fact, as they put a lap there on the Willem Botha BMW.
Yeah, Willem Botha having his hands full there with Andrew Brown, and with Willem Botha is Johan Fourie. Fourie sitting there behind that train as Willem Botha has now taken that 11th position from Brown, and Fourie still sitting there in that 13th position as they make their way underneath the Audi bridge. But at the top of your race, it's Oompie Swart, just 1.2 seconds ahead of Masters. Then Leighton Fourie 2.4 seconds down the road. Byron Mitchell has now dropped to half a second behind Leighton Fourie.
I love this fight to be having a look at now. That is Willem Botha, Andrew Brown, and Johan Fourie as we ride aboard here with Johan Fourie. And here goes Brown. He's up on the inside of Botha. The two BMWs are side by side. Botha on the left-hand side, Brown on the right-hand side, and Andrew Brown gets his nose ahead there of Willem Botha, and in doing so backs Botha right up into the Ferrari of Johan Fourie.
Johan almost touched the back bumper there. It was only a brilliant piece of driving that kept that one apart. And well, if it was any lesser drivers, Willem Botha would have been minus a back bumper and a rear diffuser.
Yeah, and that might have even put him into the kitty litter as Johan Fourie dives into the pits for a second time.
Well, not all as well there, that's for sure, but let's have a look at this fight for 3rd and 4th it is a Byron Mitchell and Leighton Free, and these two guys are chopping and changing positions. They haven't traded paint yet, otherwise they've been doing everything else out there for P3 and 4, as just ahead of them are your two front runners, Yuri Swart and Keegan Masters, and 3 seconds between Masters and Farid. But there was nothing between the two of them as they are side by side coming down towards us. On your left hand side, it is Mitchell. On your right hand side of the screen, it is Leighton Farid, and Farid is still there ahead of Byron Mitchell.
Talking about Farid, Johan Farid, you see it showed there initially that his first time into the pits was on lap number 6. So he was out of sync with everybody else in 11th, 12th and 13th lap. Hence the fact that he had to go back into the pit lane again. Once again, side by side, Byron Mitchell and Leighton Farid. They mustn't take one another out.
Yeah, but Mitchell is on that outside line, so he is the one that's in a dangerous position. But it is Farid that runs it a bit wide there. And who's this? This is Luke King and Jason Kutsia battling it out there for that 7th and 8th position, as Jason Kutsia just manages to keep that Ferrari ahead of the BMW of King.
And here comes Matt Shorter. He's in that 9th place, 6.7 seconds behind Luke King. And here comes the man that rounds off the top 10. That is Leon van Wyk. And he's 7, 8 seconds behind Shorter. And this is a lovely fight there. Here comes Andrew Brown towards us. And Willem Botha is in there. And they're going to put a lap there, I think, on Engelbrecht, if I'm not mistaken.
Gents, just look at the front of this race. Leighton Farid and Byron Mitchell has dropped to 4.2 seconds behind your race leaders, and they're battling it out there for that 3rd and 4th position. This has allowed Keegan Masters to unhindered go and chase down the likes of Umpi Swart. That gap is down to 0.3 of a second.
As we have a look at this fight for P3 and 4, you know what, FC Gary, I'd like nothing more than Keegan Masters to win this one. He's gone up 21 positions. Imagine if Keegan can pull the wool over the eyes here of Umpi Swart. And there's no reason why not. He's only 0.5 of a second behind Umpi Swart. That would be
A master
that
drive.
would be the win of the season as far as I'm concerned, should that happen. But it's not done and dusted yet.
So you predicting a master drive by Keegan Masters?
Well, it is a master drive by Keegan Masters nonetheless. But yeah, Umpi is not going to make it easy, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely not going to make it easy from it. It's down to 3.3 of a second, 0.2 of a second now between that front two. But it is so close. Oh, that was very wide there by Umpi Swart. Umpi Swart using the full track to try and gain an advantage here on a Masters. Masters says, I'm going to keep cool, calm and collected, and I'm going to show you I will catch you, and try and make a passing maneuver and win this final race of the season.
Well, there's still a fight going on out there for that 7th position between Kutsia and King. And then there's one between Corne Briet. Those two cars you see in view there. And the Noah Hendricks Ferrari. And that is the fight for Briet's 18th position.
Yeah, a lot of stuff happening around the circuit. The guys are starting to get back into a lot of fights out there. Willem Botha currently sitting in that 12th position. He's 0.7 of a second off the back of Andrew Brown in 11th. Brown at 9.9 seconds behind the 10th place man Leon van Wyk, who is kind of finding himself in a no man's land there. Luke King on the move there. He's still glued to that back bumper of Jason Kutsia as they make their way into that left-hander.
Yeah, Luke King in 8th, Jason Kutsia in 7th. There's only 0.4 of a second between the Ferrari and the BMW, as Luke is right there with him. There's Matt Shorter. He's in that 9th position, but he's 8.5 seconds behind this fight between Jason and Luke. He's Matt there in 9th position, and he's 6.7 seconds ahead of Leon van Wyk. Andrew Brown is 9.6 seconds behind him, but Andrew Brown is still being kept very honest there by Willem Botha.
Let's have a
I
look.
thought I saw the back end of Leon van Wyk maybe stepping out there under braking. And yes, it did turn into tears, but wow.
Lucky, what a catch.
Whoa.
And then he goes and does that.
Is that a commentator's curse? It was all going well, and when you said lucky, well, yeah, it didn't work out for him in that last piece there, and that cost him a little bit. So some lovely replays that we've been able to give to you. Keegan Masters, as you said, a masterful display by him.
Keegan
He
Masters
leads.
in the lead. Sorry, Gary, I do apologize. Please forgive me for that one. But Keegan Masters got his nose ahead of Yuri Swart. But for how long?
Not that long. It's Umpi Swart that's going to go back to the front. But look at what's happening behind them. It's the same scenario. Leighton Ferry going one-on-one with Byron Mitchell.
It's an all-out Ferrari battle in the top 4 positions. It's Swart versus Masters, Mitchell versus Ferrari. At the stage of the fight, a very wide line there by Swart. Masters are trying to use all of the track as well. And then Mitchell and Ferrari battling it out there as well. It's so close with just 9 minutes left in this race. Byron Mitchell makes it past Leighton Ferrari. Ferrari says, I'm going to battle you. And Keegan Masters says, I'm going to battle you, Yuri Swart. But look at how close this is between these two guys. Byron Mitchell ahead of Leighton Ferrari in this closing stages of the race.
Well, this is where we have to stay. First, second, third, and fourth, because this is what it's all about. And here comes Leighton Ferrari sitting there on the outside. Look at Byron Mitchell trying to work Ferrari towards the outside of the circuit. Anything but lose. That third place is on the mind now of Byron Mitchell. Defend that third position at all costs. That could be the call that's been given to him as well. Who knows? But be it that or not, he's still not going to let Leighton Ferrari get through. And while he's defending that third position, there is now a huge gap between himself and Masters. Masters is nearly 5 seconds ahead there of the Mitchell-Ferrari combination.
Yeah, Keegan Masters also managed to get a lot closer to Umpi Swart. Now it's fallen back down to about 0.4 of a second. But this is a lovely fight out here between Willem Botha and Andrew Brown for that 10th and 11th positions, with Andrew Brown keeping Willem Botha very, very humble at this stage of the fight.
And Lucas coming back again at them. Leon van Wyk, 4.9 seconds behind Brown and Botha. Van Wyk is there in that 12th position. So he is busy catching up on the combination of Willem Botha and Andrew Brown. There the two of them are, and there is Van Wyk not too far behind them.
Oh, the way that Botha and Brown are battling now, Van Wyk might be catching them a lot sooner than what they think. But time is starting to run out. Lap 22, 1 minute 22, 1 hour 22 minutes and 30 seconds. That means we've got just just over 7 minutes left in this race.
Well, I tell you what, these guys are sweating it out big time, especially this a young gun from Cape Town, Yuri Swart. He's been hassled, he's been mugged here by Keegan Masters. Masters has got the line for the chicane, and into the lead once again goes Keegan Masters. Now, will Keegan pull the pin and disappear down the road? With the hour 23 done, I don't know, because Umpi will come back at him. You're not going to get the better of Umpi Swart that easy. But remember, look at them weaving down that Mulsanne Straight. Anything to break the toe there on Yuri Swart.
It's all out war out there. Luke King getting past Jason Kutsia up on the inside there. Brilliant overtake there by Luke King, looking at the inside there of Jason Kutsia.
Well, Keegan Masters now 5/10 of a second ahead of Umpi Swart, and this is another replay of Jan Engelbrecht. I think he's heading now into the pits.
I think he's got a bit of damage, and I think he's actually forced to go and make a second pit stop, because this late in the race, that would not be the norm.
This is true. So, FC, here we go. It's not game, set, and match yet for Masters or for Swart, for that matter.
My stomach is starting to cramp for these drivers because it's still all out war out there. But Byron Mitchell has done enough. Leighton Ferrari must have made a massive mistake somewhere, as he's dropped down to 2 seconds behind Byron Mitchell, and that has given Byron Mitchell a bit of breathing room. But he's gone down to 5.2 seconds behind Swart, and who is in turn 0.2 of a second behind Keegan Masters.
Yeah, this is what Byron wanted. He wanted to break away from Leighton Ferrari and keep him behind him. Then he can go after the combination of Masters and Swart. And there in a lonely 5th position, 22 seconds behind Leighton Ferrari, is that lead BMW of Luc Lecchese. Francois Hubert is there in that 6th position. That is Francois you see coming towards you now. And then Luke King is in that 7th position, but still being kept very honest there by Jason Kutsia, who's only 5/10 of a second behind Luke King.
Yeah, Jason Kutsia out there ahead of, or just behind Luke King. Matt Shorter finds himself in that 9th position. He is 8.9 seconds behind Kutsia, and he's managing to stay 17 seconds ahead of Willem Botha.
FC 5 minutes to go as Willem Botha and Andrew Brown having their own little fight up there. 4/10 of a second between the two of them. And here comes Leon van Wyk. And Lucas coming with Leon van Wyk, not too far behind him in P13 is Graham Stephen.
Yeah, Graham Stephen was working his way up the pack very, very nicely. And then unfortunately, that incident that sent him into a spin there took him out. And there's a battle between Swart and Masters. Masters has dropped down to second position. Masters is in the pit lane.
Wow.
Yeah, I was just pointing at this.
That's all I can say is, wow, why?
Is this a drive-through, maybe?
It's possible.
I'm just guessing. No, it's not.
Well,
He's stopping.
Miscalculation on fuel?
Oh,
when was he last
word.
in? Well, it shows lap 22 because he's in now, but it doesn't show us when he was in the first time.
I think he was in somewhere there with lap 13, 14. I'm just guessing because everybody else was in at that stage of the game. So, Gary FC, I'm not too sure what the hell is going on
That's
here.
costing him big time. Keegan Masters, and he's just standing. Oh, he's doing a tire change as well. That's crazy. That's utterly crazy. So, where's Luke King? I think Luke King has just come through. Yep, Jason Kutsia has just come through. Keegan is on his way out of the pits. And, well, then the next man going to come through there is going to be that man, Matt Shorter. So, Matt Shorter makes up the position as well. Keegan drops right down to 9th position. 23 laps done and 1 hour 26 that's been completed. Most of the guys going into pits, lap 11, 12, 13, around about there. Let's see who's got the fastest lap times. It's Keegan Masters. Can you believe it? Dropping down to 9th. He was the fastest man out there. And it looks like, well, one of very few that did a sub 3 minute 50. I see there's a couple of 3:49s there. Byron Mitchell and Leighton Ferry also been able to do 49s. So only 3 people breaking under 3 minutes 50 in this 1.5 hour race.
Well, I'm completely blown away with this. I don't know exactly what happened. I'd love to find out from Keegan after the production as to exactly what happened. But this is a replay here of Mike Verrier running it very wide, clipping the tire wall, and then rejoining the circuit once again in that Ferrari.
Oh, that Ferrari's front right looking very, very second hand even before that clip. But Matt Shorter currently in that 8th position. Willem Botha battling it out there with Andrew Brown. He's going to go for the move around the outside. Late on the brakes he goes, but he's got to brake hard. Then a tuck in there behind Brown, trying to move for the inside line. But Brown says, I've got other plans, Chum.
That fight's still going on, and where's Leon van Wyk there? He's not too far behind him. There he comes out that chicane, and he is 4.9 seconds between Brown and Botha, and catching him big time is Graham Stephen.
Let's have a look at the last lap times. Graham Stephen at 3:52.9 and then a 3:53.6. That's why you see that visual difference in the gap.
Brown and Botha still battling it out. Botha was ahead of Brown ever so slightly as, Brown runs it very, very wide. Just ducks in ahead there of Willem Botha, but this is going to leave the door wide open there for Willem Botha.
This is the replay of this, and the cones go flying there as Willem Botha picks up those cones or bollards, whatever you want to call them, and just sends one of them packing as he's still resuming this fight with Brown, and this is the replay of that we're looking at now. And there is Botha that's got his nose ahead there. Back to real time of Andrew Brown, and closing on them is Van Wyk and Stephen.
Real time FC and real money.
Yeah.
60 seconds from now.
Yeah, Phil, this is the last minute of racing. Keegan Masters moving up past Matt Shorter there. Andrew Brown coming back at Willem Botha. He's up on the inside. There is Andrew Brown. Willem Botha says, no, I'm going to try and fight harder for this, as Botha hangs on to that 10th position ahead there of Andrew Brown. Where is your race leader, Yuri Umpi Swart? Where is he around the circuit? Will he have to do another lap? Or he just started a lap. So he's got to still make his full way around this long Le Mans circuit out here in France. But at this stage of the fight, he's done enough. If he does not put a foot wrong, he cannot hand it to Byron Mitchell. But Mitchell has done enough to stay your championship leader, with Leighton Ferry also finding himself in the top 3, having done enough to take take home some prize money.
Frankie, Canvas Intelligence, didn't they pick the right series?
Well, yes, a big thanks. It's been so hectic. As a matter of fact, Canvas Intelligence, thank you so very, very, very much. What a series you have chosen, as well as ASAP, new and used motor spares there in Pretoria West. And then a big thanks as well to Gary of Second Gear Productions, and a big thanks to Motorsport South Africa.
Right, we are past the 1 minute 30 mark, so we're just waiting for your race leader to complete this lap. There is your race leader, Yuri Umpiswart for Durant Motorsport in car number 39. He is 3.2 seconds ahead there of the other Durant car. That is Byron Mitchell, who is your overall championship leader, unofficially going into this final lap. And your basically your champion for 2022, Leighton Fourie, out there in third position, another 2 seconds down the road. And then Luke Lucchesi in fourth position, 23 seconds behind them.
Well, it's all worked out well for our man here from Cape Town, Yuri Umpiswart, as he worked his way around. The pressure's off. There's 2.7 seconds behind him. It's going to be a Durant Motorsport 1 and 2. They cannot attempt to go for a flying finish, or should I say a photo finish, because Leighton Fourie will say, if you guys are going to do that, I'm going to hassle both of you. So rest assured, there will not be a photo finish here. They're going to race these two Durant Motorsport Ferraris as hard as they can, because on the lead lap, Leighton Fourie would still fancy his chances, but somehow I just don't think so.
I think they might just be brave and actually try and come across the line side by side. But I'm pretty sure that the head honcho of Durant Motorsport's going to make that call and say, okay, we've got 1.9 on Leighton. I think we can bring Byron up alongside Umpi and bring the Durant Motorsport cars across the line together. Will they be prepared to take that gamble with the likes of Leighton Fourie in there behind them? Well, we're about to see.
It would be a very, very brave gamble should they go for that. Look at that that left rear of, I think it's Umpiswart's Ferrari. That whole light is missing there. I just picked it up there. We'll have a look now. You can't really see. There you see FC. The whole left light of that Ferrari is gone.
Oh, the tail light.
Yes,
Yeah.
the left rear light.
Yeah.
There you can
Yeah,
see.
there. Big old gaping hole sitting there in that Ferrari. But we should be getting close towards the end of this race for Umpiswart and Byron Mitchell as they work their way around Le Mans for the final time out here in the Canvas Intelligence MSA GTE Series for 2022. The first iRacing series hosted by Motorsport South Africa. And this could lead to bigger and better things in the world of iRacing, along with Motorsport South Africa through the final corner as they go. Your race leader around the final corner towards the checkered flag he goes. It's Yuri Umpiswart from Cape Town that takes the win ahead of Byron Mitchell in second, and Leighton Fourie brings it home in third.
Well, Durant Motorsport's done it. The 1-2 for them with Fourie in that third position. Well done. Luke Lucchesi, the first BMW home in that fourth position, and he's the first of let's call it the two Masters drivers. They're sitting in P4 and 5 at this point in time, and at the last 6 hour, Lucchesi and Hubert, they were teammates, and Luke comes home in P4. Remember, there's no Masters here. I'm just talking in general because they are Masters compared to Yuri, Byron and Leighton. So well done to Luke Lucchesi, Francois Hubert, and FC. Here comes Luke King across the line, followed by Jason Kutsia.
Yeah, Jason Kutsia works his way across the line. Keegan Masters will still bring it home in 8th position. Still made up 15 positions from the start of this race. A brilliant drive for him. Matt Shorter just fell short a little bit from his expectations. Brings it home in that 9th position. And
Here's a fight.
Here's a fight. Willem Botha and Andrew Brown still hasn't given up, making their way into the final chicanes. Andrew Brown's battling it out there. And here comes Leon van Wyk. But it is Willem Botha that brings it home in 10th. And van Wyk takes Brown on the line.
Yes.
Leon van
by
Wyk.
200ths of a second. And here comes, FC, here comes Graham Stephen across the line in 13th position. And finishing his race in 14th position in the Ferrari is Cape Town's Johan Fourie.
Yeah, Johan Fourie brings it home in 14th position. He didn't he had a race that he would rather forget out there today in position number 14 in the Ferrari. Across the line he'll go now. Once he goes around the final corner, there he goes across the line in 14th. Johan Ferrari, and then Sandro Beccari, 17 seconds down the line, will bring that Ferrari of his home in 15th.
Yeah, he rounds off the top 15, does Sandro Beccari, as he comes home, as FC said, in that 15th position. And then 14.7 seconds behind him in 16th position will be the BMW of Peter Hubert as Sandro crosses the line. And here comes the Peter Hubert BMW, and he's only 3.2 seconds behind the other BMW behind him in P17. There you see him, and that is Corné Breet.
Yeah, Corné Breet brings it home in 17th. Mike Verrier just 7 seconds down the road. He brings it home in 18th in the 8 ball 24/7, and Rico Bala racing a car in that 18th place, 9 seconds behind him. Suarez Hubert will bring him home that Wild Rose Gin BMW of his ahead of Noor Hendricks, who's 31 seconds down the road.
Oh, here comes Noor Hendricks. Always in that Ferrari is Noor Hendricks. And you would expect to find him slightly higher up the leaderboard and not all the way down in 20th position. But he will bring that Ferrari home in 20th position as he works his way through that Ford Curves towards the checkered flag. And then 10 seconds behind Hendricks in 21st position is Captain Peter van der Spey.
Yeah, Captain Pete brings it home.
And he's fighting with Nathim Samanga.
Oh, he hasn't given up whatsoever. In fact, Nathim might actually get him on the line.
Oh, no,
He doesn't.
Peter van der Spey takes it. Yeah.
Right on the last. Well. Canvas Intelligence, you picked the biggie. And remember, this is falling under the auspices of Motorsport South Africa, and it's going to be carrying national colors for the 2023 season. So that is utterly amazing that we have managed to go so far forward in motorsport, in iRacing, that we can actually get that national side going as well. Well, there is your board, and well, I tell you what, it was something really amazing.
Well, this look, we've had great ones, but I think this, the final one of the season, as far as I'm concerned, was the best of the lot.
Yeah, definitely a big one. And hats off to Yuri Umpi Swart, who didn't put a foot wrong and took home the win here ahead of his teammate Byron Mitchell in P2. Leighton Free, also a brilliant drive out there in P3 with Mr. Luke Lucchesi bringing it home in 4th. Francois Hubert out there in 5th, and Luke King rounding off your top 6.
Yeah, then it's Jason Coetzee, followed there by Matt Shorter, Leon van Wyk, Andrew Brown, Graham Stephen, and Keegan Masters in that 12th position.
Yeah, Masters in 12th. Johan Free brought it home in 13th, followed by Willem Botha, Beccari, Peter Hubert, Corné Breet, and Dr. Mike Verrier in that 18th position.
Wow, that was something else. And I tell you what, it was brilliant stuff. And you know, the likes of Umpi Swart having a brilliant ride out there, Luke Lucchesi having a brilliant ride out there as well, and Jaco Steyn, well, he's just done it all right. But let's see, we've got a couple of the guys in studio, and as we said to the guys earlier on, we can see on our soundbar when you guys are talking, but we can't actually hear you. So the man that walks away with the first victory of National Motorsport iRacing South Africa, Byron Mitchell. Byron, 30,000 Rand is what you raced for. 30,000 Rand is your reward. Apart from the bragging rights, a word from your side.
How's it, Gary? Yeah, thanks. I just wanted to say thanks to everybody involved in the series, making it happen. Mike, Yaku, all the guys behind the scenes. I mean, geez, I can imagine how much effort goes into putting up all the practice servers and everything. Another thanks to Garth from Durant and Brian from Durant. I mean, none of this would have happened without them as well. And yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, I never looked at it as winning the prize money. I just enjoy racing, and to be able to win the championship was like a sheesh, because coming into it, I actually said to all my friends and all my family, I said, if I get top 5, I'll be happy. And now we're sitting here won it. Jeez, I don't know what to say. Yo, something else.
Well, that was the man that's just made himself 30,000 Rand richer. Well, he didn't have an exciting race. He was pretty much out there in the open, was Luke Lucchesi. But for those of you that are not regular watchers, there's a lot of additional people. I saw the figures skyrocketing this evening of the folks that was watching. Luke Lucchesi, a man that's done massive amounts of work in the background in terms of the second gear studio to make ESCOM not have an impact on our racing whatsoever. Luke, 20,000 Rand was on the line. All you had to do was do exactly what you did this evening. A massive success for you, second overall, and a man that's proved to be the fastest of the masters for this season. Luke, a word from your side.
Yeah, look, I've had a lot of fun this championship. I think it's been organised very well. Obviously, the first of its kind, and I think it's going to go from strength to strength. Big thanks to the competitors. Byron, Umpi, Julian, who actually couldn't make it here tonight, so that's a bit unfortunate. My race. I knew what I had to do coming into the race. Obviously, it's nice to get a race win, but I was sort of in no man's land with Familiaris not being able to race. So I had quite a big points gap to Byron in front, to Umpi or Leighton behind me. So I made a bit of a mistake in the first stint where I touched the dirt on the exit of a corner and spun the car and actually hit the wall. So I was actually lucky I didn't get more damage. And then coming into the pits, I was going a bit fast at the pit speed line and hit the brakes and actually did a 360 going past the pit speed line. So a few mistakes, but at the end of the day, I finished the race sort of in like no man's land in P4. So yeah, I'm very happy with the result.
Also joining us in the second gear studios, the man that won it out there this evening, Umpi Swart, the reigning Polo Cup champion, taking that one away from Leighton Fourie in the previous season and fighting it out with Clinton Bezuidenhout. And in fact, they're going to be down in Cape Town with for the second time this year with the Extreme Festival in a not too distant future. Umpi, what a brilliant drive out there. You must have enjoyed that one, and it was taken all the way to the end to make it interesting for us to watch. A word from your side as well, a man from Umpini Motors.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. First, well done to the boys and to Byron, especially. He's been a great help to me this season. He's gone from chasing me to now I'm definitely chasing him. So I'm very impressed with his turn of pace from the beginning of the season. And just with his commitment and hard working. I mean, nobody has any idea, just mainly because he doesn't tell us, but how hard he works. But and well done to Luke, Mr. Luke. Not bad for a bully. You got the pace, my man. So well done. You were consistent all season and put it where it mattered. But look, I practiced, excuse my French, but my ass off for that race. So I'm really happy it all came together. But look, it was awesome. Leighton definitely had great pace. I couldn't have done it without Byron. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I made a few mistakes the first stint. He reeled Leighton in, got me back in the race, and then from then on, I just sort of focused and relaxed and got my head down and stopped overthinking it. Once the pit stop was done, I think it was just helped the nerves a bit. But regardless, thank you to organisers for an amazing series, and I just loved every second of it. So, just super, super grateful to be sitting in this Discord right now. So, thank you.
Well, that was Umpi Swart. And I think a closing word from the man that put this all together, Jaco Steyn. He's also in studio with us. I see he's got his microphone muted at the moment, so obviously busy with the necessary chats in the background. Let's see if we can have a closing word from Jaco Steyn.
Hi guys, yes, I'd just like to thank all the participants, all the racers. I would also like to thank the main sponsor, Canvas Intelligence and ASAP Spares for making this possible. Without all the drivers that have been involved and without the sponsors, this wouldn't have been possible. This was a dream for me and Mike to get this all done, and you guys made it possible. Thank you very much for everything, and also thanks to you guys from Second Gear Production for giving us a nice entertainment while the guys are driving. Thank you very much for that.
Well, there we go. A closing word there from the man himself, Jaco Steyn. So to the Jaco Steins, the Mike Verriers, the Sandro Bakaris, the Luke Lucchese's of this world that make it all possible, and the big six that have come on board to put second gear productions where we are in terms of the equipment that we've got as well. Peter van der Spey and all of these guys that came on board, a massive big thanks. A massive success. Year number one, part number one, page number one, Motorsport South Africa involved with iRacing. FC, a closing word from your side.
Yeah, I have to say it was an honor and a privilege to be a part of this series for the inaugural season of the Canvas Intelligence MSA series, and I look forward to 2023, where we can hopefully by the end of that award national colors to a national champion.
Well, I think everything that MSA could have asked for from Mike Verrier when he approached them and said, this is what we want to do, I believe we've given them that and a whole heap more, Frankie. I'm sure you'll agree with me. This is the next level.
Oh man, this is brilliant. I've never had an hour and a half go by so quick in my life before. But yeah, it was absolutely amazing stuff. I mean, those names that you see at home, and that's just 18 of them. There are those that didn't make it. I agree with FC. 2023, it's going to be even bigger and it's going to be even better, and that includes the Porsche Cup as well, I believe.
Well, yeah, there is the necessaries that's been put in place for touring cars, for Porsche Cup, for GTE, for the Master Series as well, and then also the 6 hour. Big thanks. Talk about the 6 hour to Graham Stephen and Jaco Vorster coming on board with some serious prize money for the guys taking part in the 6 hour race on Sunday. From myself, Gary Fleming, on behalf of Second Gear Studio, Second Gear Productions, Second Gear Talk Show, a big thank you to Frankie Yernis, Western Province Commentators Association, the voice of motorsport in the Western Cape, and the man from Yo Star C Rage Productions, and pretty much going to motorsport throughout South Africa in the last couple of years, and just sprucing it up and making it great for everybody and promoting motorsport all over. To both of you, a massive thank you. Proud to have you here in the Second Gear production studio. And from my side, Gary Fleming, I'm sure you guys all enjoyed this, and keep an eye on the Second Gear page, on the Sports and GT page, and to the iRacing South Africa page for information on the follow-up series hereafter. From the Second Gear Studios, good night to you, one and all, and congratulations, Byron Mitchell, Luke Lucchese, Julian Familiaris, not been able to hold on in his absence from Cape Town, and Leighton bringing in that third position, 30, 20, and 10,000 Rand. A big thanks to Canvas Intelligence for their input into this season. Good night to you, one and all.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.